Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the podcast After Work. I'm your host today, Stuart, and joining me today we got Derek.
Hi.
We got Isaiah.
So
we got the Alex.
No, you don't.
And we
Fen
have
hot sauce.
Fen hot sauce.
Not gonna lie, I'm wearing these glasses and just like looking up at an angle, trying not to laugh. I feel like I'm Stevie Wonder. It's like, hey, everybody, good fun with me.
Wow.
Where am I?
Fun with blind man. How dare you do that?
Today we got 4 top 5 lists. Today we got a top 5 best films.
Goddamn, dude!
Derek, stop getting
We have
your
a top 5 injuries in 2017.
God, my eye!
4 of them are Isaiah.
Yeah, I feel like a good majority of them would go to Isaiah. He chipped his tooth in case no one noticed.
Oh my God!
The last day of
In case he's self-conscious about it, I'm now
Oh
bringing
no,
it
dude!
up.
I show everybody the
Oh,
chip tooth.
damn.
So
Just goes up to random strangers on the street. Hey, look.
Hey, look!
So just making sure
No, I got this.
I'm
I'm
not
playing with lightsabers.
currently publicly humiliating you. Then
No.
damn it! Oh
He
man,
got it playing with lightsabers.
Yeah, he did.
no, I'm humiliated.
Yes. Okay. Cool. Thank you, Alex. But yes, we have 4 top 5 lists today. Top 5 films of 2017. Top 5 games of 2017. Top 5 worst films of 2017. And top 5 worst games of 2017. So, which one do you guys want to start off with? Best or... Actually, no. Before that, I'm sorry. We have to start off with our most important part of the podcast. The Fens...
The haphazard hypotheticals. It is at this moment we commence the enjoyment activity.
But before we go that far, I just wanted to give a shout out to our sponsors, Theraflu.
Please
Thank
sponsor
you.
us.
Please sponsor us.
Anyone sponsor us.
That should
Our
be,
potential
what?
sponsors.
Every time we should
Niagara, please.
That should be a new.
Samsung.
That should be a new thing. We should just go on Twitter every time and just be like new podcast by sponsor, or it should be hashtag sponsor us, hashtag please, and actually tag them on the post.
Ron Jeremy, please sponsor us.
At Ron Jeremy.
Not
please
opposed.
Or Pornhub, please sponsor us.
Anybody, please.
You'd be
sponsor
hard
us.
pressed to find someone I wouldn't want to sponsor us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right now, my number 1 goal is Pornhub. We want Pornhub to sponsor us.
I'd be happy with Pornhub.
Honestly, if I could, I would.
Yeah.
I think that it's been on record many times. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so let's
But
get to
what
that
do we
Triple
want
H.
to... Oh, yeah, so let's do it.
Alright, so where we last left off, we were in the wrestling ring. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were. We tripped. Well, we weren't in the ring. We fell on the ramp. And then...
You managed to get to the ring. And the music artist you least wanted to fight is coming out to whoop you. And the fight starts, and they hit you hard, like one punch you're down.
Damn.
They one punch manned us.
You wake up in the hospital, and Vince McMahon's over in the corner like, why did I sign you? You don't even have genitalia. How could you be? So he is mad, but unfortunately for him, you signed a contract. He has to keep you hired. He didn't have stipulations for if
Not
you
necessarily, but I won't go
sucked. He didn't
into
have
it.
stipulations for if you sucked.
That's true. Hey, I mean,
He
Zack
was
Ryder's
just-
still in the
He
WWE.
was so confident about you. He's just like, nah, this guy's staying.
I'm joking, Zack Ryder. I like you. But keep going.
So
No, he
unfortunately
doesn't.
for him, he has to keep you on, but he doesn't want you touching any of his stuff. You're too horrible. He doesn't. He's not going to pay you for nothing, but he's not going to. You're not doing any WWE stuff. But he doesn't really care what you do. So as long as you're doing something, what are you getting paid for?
Jerking off in the
Okay.
closet.
Since I'm the only other one that watches WWE.
It doesn't actually have to be WWE.
I know, but when you
Mindset.
mean nothing WWE related, you mean
He means nothing WWE related.
I don't know, nothing WWE related,
Nothing
Hold
that
on,
Vince
hold on.
McMahon has to deal with you.
huh?
Nothing that Vince McMahon has to deal with.
So I can't be like a Vicky Guerrero and
No.
be like, do you even know who Vicky Guerrero is?
No, but you can't be it because you know who it is. Anyone that you know about, you can't be part of.
You want to be that dude at Safeway? Too bad you know about him.
Exactly.
Well, I guess I'm a dead
If you
man.
know
Oh,
about-
wait, I can't because I know a dead man.
Exactly.
Wait,
Exactly.
So what if...
No, those aren't actually the stipulations.
I know those aren't actually the stipulations. Oh, man. I mean... What, like, is being in it, like...
I just can't.
I don't know,
WWE
because
related.
everything I'm thinking of is just like...
Now hold on,
like,
hold on. Can I do things without the WWE's permission, such as something in the public spotlight, or like am I separate from my character?
You don't have
What
a character.
character?
Yeah, you don't have a character. You're not wrestling.
Whatever.
You've been
Well, we
kicked
did.
out.
We-
He
we-
despises you.
So we can do.
You're
whatever,
just gone.
Just whatever we want as long as it's
The only
not
reason
like
you're
WWE.
still getting on the payroll is because he's required by contract.
Mine's the best plan.
jerk off in a closet.
Yeah. I go to every WWE event and I get off. Fuck it. And I'm getting paid to do this.
Can I just be in the audience?
No.
Is that really?
You've disgusted Vince McMahon.
Can you be in the audience?
No.
That's why I'm in the closet. I'm behind the scenes, man. Really behind the scenes. If I get lucky, I'll even get some airtime too.
I don't know. I guess I'll just sit down and eat food because fucking I can't think of anything else. Everything is like WWE related. I can't be a cameraman. I can't be an announcer. I can't be an audience member.
It doesn't
I
have
can't-
to be like in the stadium.
No,
or
I know,
anything,
but
like-
that's what I'm thinking of because it's like I'm on contract. I want to do something related to this,
That's the problem. You're not gonna do anything.
and I know this is the problem I face, and it sucks.
Look for other random tasks with no relation.
I don't know. Okay.
He came up with jacking off.
I'd probably be jacking off in a closet, waiting for wrestlers to leave a workout area, and then I'd enter the workout area and just work out on for money.
Actually-
access to some of the best gyms
Actually,
that I can
yeah.
imagine.
That's not a bad idea.
and get
I
paid
just,
to exercise.
you know what? That's not a bad
Okay,
idea.
jerk
I'm
off
gonna-
then exercise.
Yeah, I just
Maybe the reverse order so I'm not tired.
I would want to get paid.
wait.
If you're not getting tired working out, you're not doing it right.
No, like you know what he means, like
I
fatigued.
don't because
No.
I don't get tired after I masturbate. I can masturbate
Yeah,
like
but you weird.
6
you
times in a
weird,
row for like
you,
8 hours and
you
not be tired.
weirdly
I
masturbate.
don't-
You
I
have
don't
a
get tired
weird.
either.
You have a weird
I don't
level
know.
of
We got
stamina.
at least
though.
half the
Yeah,
table
why are
here
you
who
getting
doesn't
tired?
get time
Like, wait,
masturbating.
I don't know. It has to be at the end of the day. But yeah, if I'm doing it after a long day, then
Like,
yeah,
if
of
you're
course.
doing
I
it
get
Wait,
middle of
hold
the
on.
day,
Oh,
why
wait,
Oh
don't you
no,
just
no,
do it?
then no, I'm
Yeah,
fine.
you
Wait,
see,
hold
Yeah.
on. Working out or
No.
masturbating? I'm so confused.
Masturbating.
Okay.
Yeah, masturbating doesn't make most of us tired, dude. What are you guys doing wrong?
It makes me more relaxed.
It makes
I'm
me
not
tired at the end of the day if I've had a
But, like,
hard.
Well, okay, I'm
imagine
not
just
saying-
being-
yeah.
you're being paid during peak
Yeah, no.
work hours though. So from 9 to 5, masturbate.
Okay,
No, I
I mean,
wouldn't be
okay,
tired.
I don't know,
Tired.
like tired, but like, I don't know if I could like masturbate and then immediately like.
I would. I got my adrenaline
Well,
going.
it
already.
depends, like-
I just ejaculated probably 3
I-
times. Waiting
It
for
depends how
people.
big of an orgasm I have too. Like if I just whatever, but like if I'm just like then yeah, it's like oh man.
I get it if your body's with it. Then yeah,
Masturbating.
if it's just like, oh,
No, you know what
I don't know what you mean.
Like, if I'm able to just shoot off a quick one, fine. But, like, if it's been, like, a month and I haven't, and then it's just like, oh,
Yeah, but we're
God!
talking about you getting paid every day to do it.
Yeah, and this also isn't like you're still clocking in and stuff.
Yeah.
You're not. You've got hours.
So, I mean, like, no, I'm saying if I was just like, you know what, I'm not going to
But that's
jack
not
off
what it's
today.
going to be like because you're there every weekday.
So I'm just jacking off every weekday?
If that's what you choose to do, like
That's
I
what-
choose
no, that's what I'm saying,
to
like,
jack
if
off
I-
in a closet until I can work out.
No.
because I have to wait until the cameramen and wrestlers are gone.
You don't.
and there's
You
no
know they're
camera.
not the cameramen aren't actually in the.
You can also
I
go
know, but
to
that- here's
another
the thing,
super
I have
advanced
to
gym.
wait until they're gone.
Actually, can you still?
can I build? No, because
Can you
then
still
I'd have to
interact?
get permissions from or paperwork signed for that.
Wait,
He
actually,
doesn't care.
He doesn't care. Oh shit!
About
wait,
what?
wait,
Wait,
wait, wait,
wait,
wait,
does
Do
he
you
wait,
think you would sign off on
wait,
like
wait. Can I do literally anything on his dime?
Actually, I'm gonna go with yes.
Holy shit! That changes my answer.
Okay, if you're
so
going,
much.
okay, no. If you're going with the real Vince McMahon, you know damn sure that he would not go for just anything.
If we're going with the real Vince McMahon, I don't think he signs people to permanent contracts that screw him over just because they lost their genitals in a mousetrap.
if they're as good as wrestlers
They're not.
like AJ Styles
not.
and
They're
Kenny
They're
Omega,
us. We got knocked out in one punch.
He saw you.
Yeah.
He
You
came
know-
up to us and said no.
yeah,
He saw you
hold
lose
on.
your genitals
You know
and
who else
stumble
gets-
away with,
You know who else
like,
gets
blood
knocked
loss?
out in one punching match? Kurt Hawkins, and he still has a contract with the WWE, and he had 2 different runs, and he went with the Edge.
He saw you lose your genitals and stumble away and thought, I need to give them a massive contract.
Actually, I just realized this. So you said he watched you
Yep.
lose his
Yeah,
genitals.
he watched us
so
lose our
he
genitals.
just sat
Yep.
there as we struggled
Yes.
cutting
Yep.
our nuts off.
Yep.
Yes.
Man, I don't know if I want to work for this company.
Too
You're,
bad.
you're already on a permanent contract.
Permanent
I'm
contract.
being brutally
with-
honest. I'd do the same thing because I'd be terrified. Like, what the fuck is this guy doing?
Also, I just realized, how can you get paid to masturbate when you don't have genitals?
That's a good question. We don't have genitals.
Hey. I can rub whatever nub is there.
Oh my god.
I only lost. Hey, when we phrased it, it was just caught right in our genitals and our balls. I've still got at least like a 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch, maybe even a full inch left.
Or with the money you got, you could get like
Genital replacement surgery.
Yeah, that's
do
true.
something like
How long's the
that.
contract?
Except for we don't know how much we're making yet.
Actually,
what's the
okay,
standard WWE
yeah.
contract?
I don't
making
know,
that-
but
it's
I am
about-
going to say you're making enough to live comfortably off.
It's
Wait,
actually
then after a
I
while,
actually
I'd be able to
actually
get
do
it.
know I actually do weirdly know this.
Oh,
but,
what is it then?
For like the average like mid high card to like low tier card, it's about like surprisingly like not
Due
even,
per
not even
due
an-
annual. We're doing
annual.
it by annual.
Like
How many tens or hundreds of thousands a year, or more?
don't know the
with how
exact.
big WWE is, I doubt it would be tens.
Don't know.
It would have to be tens of thousands.
Don't know the.
It depends on
Minimum
the
wage
wrestler.
is tens of thousands.
Don't know the exact.
Yeah,
Minimum
but
wage
he's
is
talking
like
about for the
24K a year,
superstars.
dude.
For the superstars
No,
get paid a
I'm saying
lot.
minimum wage for any job is 24K.
Yeah,
a
I
year.
know. It's going to be higher than that.
Yeah, I know
WWE.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. So
No,
it's definitely gonna
wait,
be
how
more
much-
than-
how much do you
Oh,
think-
you mean it's not gonna be tens as in it's gonna
Yeah,
be
it's gonna be,
more than
yeah.
okay, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
wait,
for getting
wait, hold
paid
on,
as
how
much as a super, that's like a star WWE.
Wait, how much
yeah.
do you think stars in WWE get paid? Because keep in mind, Roman Reigns only makes like close to maybe like only barely double digits in millions.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
in millions.
Yeah.
Oh.
We're talking thousands.
Yeah,
Oh,
but no,
okay,
but I'm
okay,
saying
but
on
that's-
average. But I'm
All
saying
I
that's a
said, all I said was it's definitely
More than tens of thousands.
tens of thousands.
Oh no, yeah, it's more
So,
definitely
so
more
just
than
go.
10.
What's the
Like I think close like 600,000-700,000. annually.
Okay, you're making 700,000 a year.
making 700K a year. Woo.
Okay, I'd
You know what
definitely
I would
be
love
working
to get
out.
paid
I'd be
to do?
like abusing the shit out of
Yeah.
the entire system.
So
Oh, but also
so 700K a year and expenses paid
Yes.
for I'm assuming for standard expenses
For
so
whatever you're
travel-
doing as your task. That
Right.
does include
See,
travel.
okay.
that does include travel.
I was about to say it's like there's other stuff
I
in this
would-
contract since I know how it works. Where it's like you do have to be in the arena, which means you do
And
have to
this
travel,
also isn't
and they don't
exactly
pay
a
for your
standard
travel,
contract.
huh?
This also isn't exactly a standard.
I know,
I
but
would-
I'm trying
I would
to
pick
just.
up
I'm
a
trying.
secondary job that pays for about it only pays for about like almost 30,000 a year. But professional flyers, people who fly with airlines, that make that specifically do so for their quality tests and stuff. I'd be doing that, but all of my travel expenses are paid for by the WWE, and I'd always be doing first class. So I'd be a professional flyer in the most comfortable way possible.
There you go.
Nice.
I'd like to be someone who commentates on the commentators.
You can't do
for
that.
WWE.
That's still.
That's too related to the
yeah,
WWE.
that's still being too related.
Yeah, no. Vince McMahon would
Vince
still
McMahon
have to
It
deal
can't,
with
it
this.
can't
Your
have
face,
anything
ever.
at all. To
He cannot see your
Vince
face.
McMahon does not want to deal
Wait a
with it
minute.
anyway.
Wait, can't I be like not people who are like directly connected, but like just a YouTuber that like talks about.
Not if you get
WWE?
big.
Huh?
Not if you get big.
What do you mean?
He's got to, because then you're dealing with intellectual property rights and commentating on his intellectual
And he
property
doesn't
right.
want to deal with
And
you.
he doesn't want to deal with you and your shit. Because your videos are going to get flagged.
Wait,
They are.
wait, that's not fair. Wait.
Yeah. No,
It sucks for you.
sucks
How
for
I
you.
work in the company that doesn't make sense.
Exactly. You work in the
You
company
work in
for
the
guy
company,
who doesn't want to see or
but
hear from you.
he hates you. And he doesn't want you in the company. He's contractually
You
required
see,
to keep
my
you.
way, he never has to see or hear from me ever, and I get to explore the world, get paid extra to do it. So I'm making like $750K a year.
I don't wait.
I don't have to pay living expenses anywhere because I can travel that often. And any living expenses I do pay for, I can
It
have
bugs
paid
me 'cause
by
I know the
WWE
contract so
because
well.
they'll be in hotels near airports. So I can be living in 5-star hotels and first-class flights, constantly traveling the world, never having to pay for any living expenses myself. Every single expense for food, travel, everything paid for. I don't have to spend any of the money I make, and I'm making $750,000 a year.
Would I be allowed to
And
have
this is
my
a
own
permanent contract.
my own reality show where all I do is talk about how I'm getting paid to not go anywhere near
No,
WWE?
because
right
that would be
there,
so-
as soon as you do that, it relates to the intellectual property rights.
Also,
Could I
if-
be like,
also,
I,
if you-
get
you
paid
would-
this much to not go anywhere near
No,
a certain
also-
you
thing?
actually can't disclose how much you're being paid.
Yeah.
Oh.
Also, you be having a reality TV show, which will most likely be on the WWE network, and that's closely related to the other reality TV shows. So you can't do it.
Yeah,
Damn.
that's true. If you do it with the same network as WWE or in a network that they have a contract with, you will be seen by Vince McMahon.
So me and Alex
I
have
like
like
it.
the two best plans.
I'm
so
like
far.
trying.
I have the
I'm
best.
trying to think of a
Yours
way to
is
get
kinda
paid in a way.
Isn't
where
it the
I can-
same thing?
I can
No.
masturbate in my
Wait, what was
first-class
yours?
cabin.
His,
Sit in the
his
closet and drink up.
masturbation and working out.
Is it yours? Just
No, his is
No,
professional
mine is
travel.
professional travel.
Oh,
I can
professional
travel
travel.
the
The main
entire
difference
world.
is I'd be traveling with them, going into broom closets drinking.
You're dumb.
I'm gonna say that
I don't
Alex-
know. Am I? I'm the one that's getting paid $700,000 a year to jerk off in a broom
I'm
closet.
getting
Yes,
paid
'cause you're not
$750,000 years to jerk off in first class while exploring the world.
See, that sounds better.
Yeah,
you're
I-
just
I'm
not-
going with because I'm
getting
not sitting in one stadium
three
doing
Michelin
this.
star restaurants around the world and first class ice hotels and shit. I'm getting everything.
And
Can
I'm
we
going
at least-
into all their broom closets to
Can
jerk
we
off.
at least post our experiences on Instagram? And
Well, yeah,
just
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Vince McMahon doesn't.
There's a
have
very
Instagram.
black
He does
picture.
not-
I'm in a
Do
closet
not-
at this
do not
fucking.
include any.
You can do Facebook
any
and anything
corporations
too.
with
Just
that.
don't make it Vince McMahon's problem.
And yeah, don't
I
include
would-
any corporations. If you include a single corporate logo, it could get bad.
I
And I'm
would
gonna
still
say
love.
I will say that Alex's is the best, even including mine. But I personally I think would enjoy mine better. And I don't know what to label it, but I would basically be paid to like snack and drink. And I put like I could keep healthy if I wanted to, like I could snack on celery or stuff like that. But I could also like get a massive amount of money. Like I'm gonna snack on beluga caviar today. Let's just get. Let's see. What should I have to drink? What's this like
But you
$1,000
could do
bottle?
that with me on first class flights.
I know, but I also don't want to have to travel.
No, you have to
Yeah,
travel.
I know that's why I'm not going with his.
But
No,
Mine, I
I mean-
don't have to travel.
But, I mean, it
I
depends
gotta
on what
know,
you want
I
to
just-
snack on. Because
I
if you want to
just-
snack on something world class, you probably have to travel.
Well, yeah, but I'm also choosing what I'm doing,
well, that's
so I can travel.
I'm choosing
well, that's the
where
thing.
I travel, how
I keep
travel,
having
when I
to
travel.
forget that this is a non-traditional contract. Cause
Yeah, this is-
It's like with WWE. It's like no, you have to travel regardless of not. if
This
you're
is
part of the
a
show.
really weird contract.
And it's a contract that would never be passed.
It
by
was
Vince
the
McMahon,
first
Triple
time
H,
he
or
did
anybody
it, and
else.
it's the last time he's doing it.
Note to self: make sure there's genitals before signing.
I mean, after like about a year and a half abroad being paid $750+ a year, I could have definitely afforded the surgery.
Well, not if you're doing all
After-
that stuff you're doing. Like
Yeah,
going to
It's all
5
paid.
Yeah,
for.
no, that's the thing.
Huh?
That's the thing. When
You know,
you're
because
traveling under a
that
company's dime,
because he chose that as his profession.
So also when you're traveling
McMahon
under
is
a company's
covering
dime,
it.
food and living expenses are
not a
paid
traditional
for.
contract.
So
Like I
as
said.
I know. I'm just like
as long
that's
as
not right.
as long as I live in hotels and go to nothing but restaurants, like I don't go to Safeway to buy my own food. As long as I don't go to a supermarket to buy food or rent a like apartment in an apartment complex,
They do
I-
pay for your
I-
hotels though. For everything.
I can do whatever I want wherever I want all the time. I can eat everything I want. I can go anywhere. I can sleep anywhere I want. I can be with all the best services and be paid to do it. Never have to pay a single dime of my own for any of it.
Also, for being technical, it's called an ironclad contract, not a permanent contract. Just say,
I wasn't
I'm
giving it
such a
term.
loser.
I was describing it.
I'm such a loser.
Stuart, what's your plan?
Yeah, what's your plan, Stuart?
I don't know. I'm trying to think of a way that would piss him off the most for paying me, and I think you guys have kind of beaten any idea I would come up with.
With me,
Oh.
he's paying millions of dollars
Exactly.
a month for me.
I can't think of anything else. I'm just trying to think, like, what would be the worst thing you'd have to pay
I
someone
got
to
it.
do?
I got it. You do his plan, but you go to every WWE event and then piss right in his locker.
He doesn't have a locker.
Wherever he stores his
His
stuff, you
office
piss
set.
right on it.
Go to his
That's
office.
his job.
Just piss on his office handle. Just
That's what he gets paid to do and travel around the world to
Does he
follow
even?
him.
Does he even have? I'm not gonna.
He's his professional paid stalker.
I think, like, if it was for the
Piss on the
limitation,
shit.
my first thing is definitely the one I'd want to do, though. If it was for the fact that I have to be far away from WWE, I'd love to be the guy who comments on the commentators.
I'm glad
Just
that
like
I hate
hiding in the bushes.
WWE.
Over there, you
Now
can
here you
see.
see JR. That wasn't his best comment I've heard. Like, that wasn't a very good comment from JR.
That's
I've
him
heard-
making a comment
And then
on
JR
how,
rips you a new one.
how he's beating that guy up, and I'm commenting on this because, it's interesting that he's saying that, but, like, that could change at any minute. As I'm speaking right now, that could have changed. You never know.
That'd be so annoying. No,
I know.
The most annoying thing.
I think you should join
And
me.
that's why I'd love to get paid
Join-
to do that.
Just
I'd be
join
pissed.
him.
join me and
just-
waste all of his money.
I think that's the only way I could really piss him off.
Wait,
So
can
yeah,
you?
I'm gonna
Can
join
you
you.
interact with other superstars?
As long as Vince McMahon's not around.
So, and it's on camera.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm about to say just
As long as
Snapchats and Instagram of you spending money, buying everyone everything. Like,
No,
hey,
that
hey.
would probably affect Vince McMahon because then they'd approach about their contracts to Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon would have to deal with it.
Yeah, that's that. No,
Yeah,
that's
so no, you'd have to be careful not to do things like post about what you're getting and how you're getting it from the company.
Oh, no,
You
I'm not-
post
no,
what
no,
you're
no.
doing. Just make sure no one knows the company's paying for it.
no, yeah, no. I'm not. I wouldn't post it like that. It's just I would be like,
Also,
hey,
you'd
look
have-
at me, just
you'd
got
have
a
to-
bag from my friend Chambers. Oh, I'm getting my nails done at this really nice place with my friend Sasha.
Also,
Me from
how-
Balor doing
How
this
would
stuff.
you communicate with them without telling them you worked with them? Technically.
You'd still have to be in the arenas.
Just have
And
to
you can
No,
accidentally
no,
bump
no,
into
you
like
don't
we
have
said.
Yeah.
This isn't a traditional contract.
you
You're
do
not
not
in
have to
the.
be
You're not
in the
allowed in the arenas.
You're literally not allowed there. It's not that. It's the opposite of that, Isaiah.
You'd just be a super fan. A really
You're
a
not
really
even
rich
allowed
super
in the
fan.
audience.
A really rich super fan.
You're not even allowed in the audience.
super
You're not
fans-
interacting with them
The
in
super
the arena.
fans
You're
actually
interacting-
go to the events.
Yeah.
You cannot
Yeah.
be anywhere Vince McMahon might be.
You're allowed to watch them on TV. That's about it.
You cannot be in the hall behind the stage because Vince McMahon might be in that hall. So you can't even be at those events.
I'm talking
So
about
how-
outside,
Like, how are you going to meet these people without being at one of their events?
like outside. You know, like you bump into one of
You're
them.
still
like,
at the stadium.
you still have to be at the stadium Vince McMahon would be at. You still have to be at the place.
You're costing him a lot of money.
What do
He
you-
doesn't want to see your
He
face.
Hold
doesn't
on.
want- you
Why does it have to
essentially-
be at this? Why would I have to see them at the stadium?
Where? That's the thing. I'm asking where else you would see them.
Outside the stadium.
Right, but
How
think
far
okay,
outside
think
the
of this.
stadium are you talking
Think of
about?
this.
Well,
like,
it depends on where the hotel is, though, is it?
No. Think about it like this. You have a what are those things where you can't see someone? You have
Restraining order?
You essentially have a restraining order from him. You cannot go within 150,000 feet of him. That's what we're talking about.
That's a lot.
You cannot. It cannot be a chance that he sees you.
Okay, 150,000 feet. That might be a little much there.
Listen, we're talking about he's paying.
I mean,
you.
I don't know what the distance is, but the point's still the same.
I get. I
The
know.
point
I
is,
get it.
he's letting you have whatever job you have, on the condition that he never, ever has a chance of seeing you.
Well, if it's 150,000 feet, then how am I supposed to know where he?
No, just think of it like that.
I get. I
The
get
distance
it.
isn't
The idea is
important.
that you don't know where he is, so you can't be even outside that stadium
So
because
what
you
if-
don't know what exit he's
So
going
what
to
if
take.
he wants to screw me over and just walk by? Like I'm minding my own business.
He's not going to screw you over because he legitimately just
Yeah,
doesn't want to see you.
He doesn't want to see
He
you.
has a sixth
also-
sense of knowing where you are.
He's
at
not
all
going to
times.
try and find you just to mess you
No,
up.
no,
He's going to avoid you.
here's the
Okay.
thing. He will never seek you out, but he will also never avoid you because technically, if he's heard about where you are, you don't work this job. You then get consigned to just sit in the corner somewhere. You don't get your dream job and you don't get it paid. Right now, he's paying you to literally not be part of his life at all.
He is paying you
As soon
to
as,
fuck off.
as soon as he has an inkling of where you are, as soon as he hears enough about you to know what general area you're in on Earth, That's the point where he's like, yeah, I'm not paying you to do whatever you want anymore. Now you have to sit in a corner.
All right.
He can't fire you, but he can give you a
But-
really terrible job.
Yeah. Right now, you're being given your dream job under the condition that there's no chance he ever has to see you ever anywhere.
To be fair,
So,
this
how
is
do
not
you
my
ever
dream
plans-
job.
He's giving you the best you can handle without having to be around him.
Without having anything to do with the WWE, he's giving you whatever your dream job outside of anything to do with that is.
I love how it's just that is jerking off. I'm giving you the best thing you could do.
Masturbate.
And that's masturbation.
Hey,
What?
I'm doing more than just masturbating.
I mean, yeah, you're
I'm
doing more than just
first class
masturbating,
flight
but like,
masturbating with
thinking about it, it was just,
and 3-star.
I can do a lot while
restaurants.
drinking things and eating things. That's
which is funny because
not super limiting.
he can't be in the real.
His
He
is
can't.
really easy to avoid Vince McMahon with. Mine, I just have to know what countries he's in and just not be in those countries during that time.
But no, just think about it.
I could just like have a house be at home, just be like, just gonna watch TV.
But no, thinking about his, it's funny because he was just like, oh, just be in an arena, in a closet in the arena. It's like you can't. So he's just in a random closet in nowhere, just masturbating.
That's fine.
He doesn't know I'm there.
That's
though.
fine.
I know, but
as
it's
long
like-
as there's no chance he can know that he's there. That's fine.
I mean, come on,
Because
you
there's
got
no
to do more
chance.
with your life.
There's
I'm
here's,
getting paid
here's the thing.
$750,000
Under this assumption-
$750,000 a year. I don't need to do much. with my
Under
life.
this assumption, he clearly has to go to that closet far before there's a chance that Vince McMahon is on the property. And he has to wait in that closet until there's no chance Vince McMahon is on the property still. He has a miserable time. He's in there masturbating for like an entire day. Like a 24-hour period. That's what he's talking about.
My arm's getting jacked.
Actually,
walks
something I
out,
thought about.
Switch arms every 6 hours like clockwork.
Something I thought kind of funny about mine is I know I wouldn't be getting an elaborate house regardless of what I can afford. I'd probably be getting like just something small and nice. But then like you open my refrigerator and then there's like all this like decadent, amazing stuff. You go to the liquor cabinet. There's like $2,000 bottles.
You have to have a wall of refrigerators. You have to like have a walk-in refrigerator and a walk-in freezer.
So, yeah, your house is nice. I mean, I've seen better, a little run down, but so you want to eat something? Like, yeah, what do you got? Got beluga caviar. I got this like gold burrito. Like it's actually there's real gold all over that.
Oh my
Gold
god!
plated.
And what's better? I would love it if you just like added like the Halo music, just like and
Also,
like
you're being paid $700,000 a year. You can afford to
Yeah.
get some Bluetooth speakers.
That's honestly to make a sound trigger for when I open the door. That's not that expensive.
Yeah.
no, I know it's not.
I can afford that now, honestly.
No, I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying it'd be a
How
nice
much
touch.
Many of them you could afford on $700K.
Plus, how much more meaningful it would be to open to something actually interesting.
Whoa.
Oh yeah, I got some like really amazing gelato. Like it was made by Gordon Ramsay.
Okay, I think we need to move.
We need to move
Yeah,
on.
we did.
We
that.
really need to move on from
My
Sega.
question
We
is,
did that for 45 minutes.
Oh my god!
my question to you guys is: do we want to start out with the top 5 best games or best movies, or worst games or worst movies?
So, my mama always taught me to eat dessert first. So,
Bullshit. That
Best
your mom.
video game.
no, that's an actual thing. She actually did teach me.
My mama always taught me
That
to
is her-
save the
that is
best
her
for
thing.
last.
My mama always taught me to shut the
Okay,
fuck up
but,
and eat my
but here's the
vegetables.
thing. Here's the thing, though. Is the best dessert or is the best steak?
I guess that depends.
yeah.
The best.
I
is
mean,
steak.
Because
what if
for
you had
me-
a rare
exactly,
steak
right?
or just
So-
vanilla ice cream?
so-
What do
I don't
what would you
eat
rather
dessert
eat?
That's
anymore.
true. I'd kind of rather eat the like really bad ice cream, and then I get to move on to
Exactly.
really nice.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
So
It
dessert
depends.
first.
All right,
Let's do the
so best. Okay, so best films or best games?
I'd say best films.
All right,
say
best
best
films.
films.
Okay.
Let's
I guess-
do it.
I mean, I
For-
guess
For
I'm
some
not
of us,
number-
the best
Hey,
games
that's
list
three
is
for film.
disappointing.
All right,
I actually
so
like my list game.
let's do it. This
like my
is our top 5 best films of
All right.
2017. Before I begin my number 5,
I don't have to tell you you're wrong, Stuart.
before I
Thank
begin
you.
my number
You
5.
didn't have to in the first place, but okay.
No, I did. If
No,
he was
you
gonna-
didn't.
If he was gonna say
you
it,
did not
I
have
did.
to. You did
You
not
only
have
were gonna
to.
do it because you're a dick.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start out before I do my number 5. Give my honorable mentions. We're not gonna be going into details about our honorable mentions. We're just gonna be mentioning our honorable mentions. And honorably mentioning them. And they are Wonder Woman, Spider-Man: Homecoming, Split, It, Dunkirk, Baby Driver, and The Last Jedi. Those are my honorable mentions. But my number 5 is Disaster Artist. I think I actually put that at number 5, mostly because as a filmmaker, I love movies about making movies. In fact, I'd actually say probably my favorite, like close to my favorite movie of all time is actually Ed Wood. And in a way, this is almost like a modern version of Ed Wood because it's about one of the worst directors in history, but doing what he wanted to do, like, you know, very passionately, and yet it's still sucking. And what I like is that even at the end, you know, when people are watching the movie and he's realizing the backlash it's getting, I do like that there's still a positive thing that he takes away from it, which I'm pretty sure you guys can figure out what it is, but I'm not going to give it away just because of spoilers. But overall, yeah, Disaster Artist, great film, really funny, really well acted, mostly. It's just that with James Franco, he does his best, but it sounds like nothing but an impersonation. But at the same time, when you hear Tommy Wiseau talks, how he talks like that's not his actual accent, like he's doing an impersonation of an accent. That's just how he is. So in that sense, James Franco actually does a really good job.
Great story.
If I had anything negative to say is that I was disappointed that they didn't confirm that Tommy Wiseau was D.B. Cooper, and I mean, we all know that's the case, but you know, a great film. We all know he's D.B. Cooper.
We all know he's D.B. Cooper.
Yeah, it's true.
No, true story.
All right, Derek, you go.
Wait, that was all 5?
That was my
I think
number.
we're all going to give
we're rotating.
Yeah,
rotating.
rotating. 5s, 4s. Yeah.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
I'm
Like
gonna
when
come up
it's
with
just
a-
like what we did.
I like that better because then I don't have to wait like 3 hours to.
Yeah. No, it's like when we did our top 3 horror movies.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
So my number 5 is Wonder Woman. It's the first time a movie somehow worked out the Zack Snyder color palette and made it work to its advantage. Still could have done better, but hey, it was pretty good. I was really into Wonder Woman. Gal Gadot was amazing.
I still don't know what it is about her. If she's a great actor or just great for this role, I still don't know.
I haven't seen
but
her
she
in any
works
roles, so.
damn well for this role.
Yeah, it does work very well. I do have issues with the film as all in all, but I actually didn't see that many films, and while of all the films I saw, the other half pretty much went to the bad list. So Wonder Woman's number 5.
Do you have any honorable mentions?
Oh, for an honorable mention, Valerian. That was a movie
Totally
that
deserving of that.
Can't talk about it. Honorable mention.
fine. Damn it, that's right.
Someone else will probably bring it.
Yeah.
So
I might replace Guardians with it.
So for honorable mentions, I had Homecoming and John Wick 2. And my number 5, y'all probably gonna be like, you dumb, but
You dumb.
I really like.
That was a terrible move.
I really like Split.
All right.
I mean,
That was
an
my
honorable
honorable
mention
mention.
for him.
Yeah.
It was almost in my list.
Well,
It's
yeah,
gonna be an
I
honorable
know you
mention
like
for him.
Spider-Man, and then you have a hard on for John Wick.
It
so
was on my.
putting those two.
It was on my rough draft for good movies.
Yeah, it was on my
Yeah.
rough draft for good movies too.
I
Well,
keep
I meant-
forgetting Split came out this year.
Split was a
last year.
good. Split was a good movie.
Yeah.
honestly, it all through and through. It just kept me on my seat wanting more. And just like, ooh. I mean,
Yeah.
I will admit, like the ending took a little bit for me to be like, wait, what?
The ending was probably my least favorite part of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Because I liked it better when it was actually about exploring someone with split personality disorder and the problems that could come from that. But I mean Shalamanon had a Shalamanon in it, so
Yeah. But
it's not a Shalamanon film unless a Shalamanon
It wasn't
happens.
entirely free of Shyamalan.
yeah, he had to just get that one in. He couldn't have a good, what
He couldn't have like a good all the way.
It's
Yeah.
like the first Shyamalan movie where it feels like the twist wasn't written before the rest of the movie.
I half think it was. So here's the thing.
Yeah, honestly,
I think
really?
it was because I feel it's so disconnected that it could only have come from existing before the movie script existed.
Yeah.
I don't see that coming naturally from writing a movie in the way he did. I see that being the premise he started with and then writing a better movie around that eventuality that happens to have almost nothing to do with it.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, I'm
because
just
if
going to
it-
point out to listeners now, we're going to try to avoid spoilers,
Yeah.
but
As
I
much
will
as possible.
before the-
just in case, spoiler warning.
no, yeah. Before the
yeah.
video, I will put a spoiler warning.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, good.
I will directly mention if I'm about to say a spoiler on purpose.
Yeah.
But yeah, good direction. Like the acting. I will admit the
James
twist.
McAvoy's an amazing actor.
It was really good acting, but
McAvoy is the
main
guy who
character.
played
Yeah.
Professor X.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love McAvoy. McAvoy's great.
but yeah, definitely left field twists where it's like that totally doesn't seem like something that would be like not completely left field, but definitely like
I wouldn't call it left field because
Okay.
I would call it tonally unfitting.
yeah.
It doesn't fit like the story that's being told, but it doesn't come out of left field. Like it clearly does build to it. There are things that directly show it way before it happens. Like
My
pictures
biggest
and
problem
stuff.
is
Like it's
my biggest
yeah.
my biggest problem is it still feels less like a twist, more like a reference, for lack of a less spoily term.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, number 5, the split.
All right.
All right. My number 5.
Honorable mentions first.
Honorable mentions. Thor Ragnarok.
Mm-hmm.
Saddens me that I'm not putting it in here. I am changing this at the last second. So Guardians Volume 2 is an honorable mention for me. I'm hoping someone else put it in here. Boss Baby is a very surprising honorable mention. Lego Batman, honorable mention. It is so close to being my number 5. It's not even funny. And those are my honorable mentions. My number 5 is Valerian and the Thousand Planets, or the City of the Thousand Planets. It was much better than I expected. I still would have replaced the 2 main actors, but not for the reasons I thought I would. It's just because they don't look like they fit, honestly. They did fairly well. They did much better than I thought they would do. They acted fairly well. They just look like bratty teenagers.
Yeah.
And I'd rather that not be the case. But honestly, they did pretty good. The script was way better than I thought it would be. It felt much better overall. It had some amazing visuals.
Oh, the visuals, wow.
I saw it in 3D the first time I saw it, and went back to see it in 2D just to see if it was a little bit less weird with the visuals, because there were some scenes where the 3D didn't fit, but it was almost always like focusing on something that was way out of frame, like something that was like way in the distance.
Was it the one that had the weird like space station?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
the space station was
Oh,
completely
yeah.
out of focus when it was a 3D.
Like it had focus issues with the 3D.
Yeah, it got weird
because
at
things are
points.
like dramatically different distances, and 3D doesn't work with that. That was fixed a lot in the 2D version, so I can't call that a problem with the movie, or at least I don't want to. But it was surprisingly good even in 3D. It was very fun. A surprisingly amount of charisma came from the actors, because I expected them to have no chemistry or anything. And some amazing visuals, and probably one of my favorite first 15 minutes of a film like ever.
I don't know why. I'm so surprised that Rihanna was in this movie, right?
Yeah, she was.
Yeah,
Rihanna.
I was quite surprised to actually see her. I mean, I know she was in the trailer, but I was like,
Who?
Rihanna. She's a pop star.
That changing girl.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
And I was like, oh, they got her for this movie. Okay.
The one where I made a couple of hentai jokes and a
Yeah.
YouTube joke about.
It's like probably wouldn't have picked her for.
You okay? Can I have about 3 Friday?
But yeah, Valerian, a surprising 5th place for me.
All right. For my honorable mentions, I've got Kingdom in the Golden Circle, Thor Ragnarok, Belko Experiment. I really wanted to put that on my top 5, but I just
I should have put that in my honorable mention.
I couldn't justify putting it in my top 5, but I really wanted to. Wonder Woman, The Boss Baby, Going in Style, and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Going in Style deserves an honorable mention for me as well.
Number 5, I'm going to go with John Wick 2. Really love the first John Wick. I didn't like this one as much as the first one, but it still had enough of what I liked about it, just like really heavy action. Probably one of my favorite action series in general. I don't know that I don't know that I put it as my favorite overall action series, but it's in the top for action series.
I do apologize. I should have included Atomic Blonde as an honorable mention. I realize that now.
I should have too. Actually.
Also, John Wick 2 probably deserves an honorable mention for me as well.
Same here. I forgot to mention that too, but yeah, honorable mention for John Wick 2.
Also, Guardians for me was an honorable mention.
I changed it to an honorable mention for me.
It was on his list.
I know. I know.
And that's about as much as I said.
Okay.
Yeah, very solid action. I know. I didn't include it on my list because it was disappointing compared to the first one.
Yeah.
But its action is extremely good when it's there.
Its soundtrack is really good.
Plot was pretty mediocre though in my eyes. But yeah, its action was absolutely top tier whenever it was there. Who directs the action in those movies? Because I love whoever the hell that is. They are great.
God, I knew it.
If I remember correctly, like they did change, but like the director, the choreographer for the second one did work on the first one. Give me a second. Go ahead and do your.
Yeah,
I'll bring it up when I get to.
that choreographer doing a lot more.
I'm gonna do my.
Sorry, to answer that question, I know he did Atomic Blonde, and he's the director for Deadpool 2.
That's right. Okay, that's right.
No, like not choreographer. He is the director.
Yeah,
that makes me even more excited for Deadpool 2.
I do love him.
All right. My number 4 is interesting fact. This probably would have made number 10 if I was doing a top 10 list, but in my film appreciation class, we watched this film again.
I have a question. Yes. If it would have made your 10,
he's explaining that. Right
yeah, I'm explaining it. This would have originally only made my 10, right? Wouldn't have even made my top 5. But watching this movie again in my film appreciation class, and then getting kind of a new perspective on the film, basically going into depth with it, made me have like a whole nother layer of appreciation for it, and that is the movie Get Out. Like, it was already a great movie to begin with, but then there's so much that gets that I can't really go into detail about because it would get into spoiler territory, but there's so much like kind of subtext in this movie that I did not get originally. Like, there's some really clever foreshadowing of what's going to happen in just the very beginning of it, just using visuals that you would not think about. It's a lot like one of my favorite comedies of all time, The World's End, where you watch it again. There's so much stuff you kind of miss the first few times, and then it's one of those movies that I think it's better over time because you catch so many more things because of it. Acting is great. I do love the comedic tones in it and how it's like it's great, it's there, but it never distracts from the film. And I like how the meta humor never feels like the original Scream movies, where it's like this is not actually how people talk. It actually feels like it's meta humor, but it feels like how people would talk in real life at the same time, which is really hard to do. So yeah,
it's one of 2 movies that I really, really, really deeply regret not seeing this year. And
I also heavily regret not seeing it.
There were a lot of movies I regret not seeing this year, but there are 2 that I really needed to have seen that I didn't. That's Get Out and The Shape of Water.
Yeah, both of them I recommend both of them.
Yeah.
Shape of Water I wouldn't put on my top 10, but I would say it's really good.
As a Guillermo del Toro fan, I needed to have seen it, and I didn't see it.
That I can think of for my need to see list, it would be Shape of Water, Get Out, and actually Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah, that one too.
Yes, you need to see that.
I wish I could put this on my list.
I'm down to watch it as much as you want, anytime you want.
So, Derek.
Okay. So my number 4 is actually Spider-Man: Homecoming.
All right. Yeah, good film.
I thoroughly enjoyed it as a teenage rom-com action comedy, so that was very fun to enjoy. I liked the take.
You put comedy in there twice.
Sorry.
Rom-com, action-com.
I need to make sure people knew. I need to make sure people knew that it was comedic, because honestly, it was more of a comedy.
It was funny, dang it.
Damn it! Yeah, it was a great take on Spider-Man. I'm not a religious zealot, as Alex here, for Spider-Man.
As a religious zealot, it should be worth noting, this year was so good, I did not put Spider-Man Homecoming in my top 5 or bottom 5.
Also, while it is his most favorite, he also disliked the changes, but that's a different story and a different rant.
Wait, what?
Though you liked it, you did dislike a lot of the changes.
Yeah, but that's from a comic book fan's perspective. If I'm just a movie scene perspective, it was a fantastically put together movie.
Yeah, but
I debate whether or not it should be in my top 5. It's very close. It's definitely in my top 10. If that helps.
But yeah, I had a lot of fun. I definitely think it's the best Spider-Man movie so far. I love Tom Holland as Peter Parker.
Tom Holland is a fantastic.
I-
He is
I
my
did-
favorite Peter Parker.
I'm gonna be serious. I didn't think I would like an entire Peter Parker where he's in high school through most of his.
Oh,
for
I
all we
always
know,
knew that's what I wanted.
for his entire time with the Avengers and everything. I didn't think I was gonna like that. I thought it was gonna be annoying, but it works so much better than it would with an adult.
It
Yeah.
works. It works better. Period.
Yeah,
Spider-Man was meant to be serialized and was meant to be a relatable kid from high school.
yeah, and
Going through
reading more of the
relatable problems.
comics that you've shared with me, it once he leaves high school, he becomes more serious.
Yeah,
So
Spider-Man is
it-
a much more serious character outside of high school. He gets like weirdly serious arcs and shit.
Yeah.
He get like even before that he had serious arcs, but like it gets pretty dark at times after high school.
Yeah, but no, I loved it. It was actually a big surprise. I thought I was gonna be 50-50, like really
Right
on
in
the
the
fence
middle.
with it. Yeah, I was like, I didn't think it was gonna be the worst, but I did think it was gonna be the top 10 for MCU that I thought it was gonna be for me.
I mean, was it ever gonna beat Spider-Man 3 for worst Spider-Man movie? Really?
Well, no, I'm talking about MCU. I thought it was gonna be on the lower end.
yeah.
Like just
Did you really think they weren't gonna put enough money into Spider-Man to make it worse than Iron Man 2?
I just had my doubts because this is the third Spider-Man that we've seen.
Yeah.
So
It still has.
Oh,
the third
yeah.
third live
third
action,
story, third live action.
third actor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Third
First
actor.
thing I was gonna be like, what? This is like the seventh. What?
It's like Amazing Spider-Man, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, Superior
Third live
Spider-Man.
action, third live actor, and then the sixth movie or live action movie.
I mean, technically, there's two other live actors.
yeah,
if you go with the really shitty show
Actually,
from the
more than two others,
from the
technically.
70s, and then the Japanese
Okay.
live action
We're not
Spider-Man.
going that far. We're not going that far.
And then the Japanese movie.
You
and then
start going into that, there's a lot more.
Oh, yeah.
Now we're gonna
That's
have
the
serious
Broadway
issues
show?
on this one.
Oh God.
But yeah, I loved it.
My favorite. I think it still has one of my favorite scenes in all of Marvel, where it's like, you know what? I'm good. I don't think I need the suit. Are you sure? Yeah. And I don't need the the Avengers position either right now. I'm good. It'll be in the ground.
Spoilers,
Okay.
a warning. Just
Okay.
Spoilers.
Yeah, that's like literally the very.
Did I not say I was gonna put spoilers at the beginning
Yeah,
of this?
but we should.
No,
vocalize
no.
when
At
we
this
do
point,
spoilers.
Yeah.
Huh?
You did, but we should
Yeah.
mention before we,
should
give
mention
actual
before we give
spoilers
the
because
Yeah.
we are trying to avoid spoilers in general.
Like we know we're not gonna be able to, but that's like a pretty blatant spoiler.
I'm not saying you can't say it. I'm
That's-
just saying
it's-
you just warn people.
it's
just
ruined
warn
them.
people that you're
That's
missed.
ruined them.
I will say that it also had one of my favorite comic book movie moments, which has to go to the twist and how it was directed. I'm sure you guys know which twist I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The knocking on the door, who opens it.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that whole scene, like from the beginning of it to the end when he leaves the car, was awesome, and probably one of my favorite comic book movie moments.
Fantastic.
Especially the lighting that went with it, like you know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about with the
the
light.
stoplight turning from.
Oh
red to
my
green.
god, that was amazing.
That's
It's even better once you because so after we talked about that scene for the first time, right? And I went back and rewatched it. There are other things with that scene where the light colors symbolize a lot more than
Yeah.
even just a tone switch. It's also a switch from, quick spoiler warning. It's a switch from a focus on red Spider-Man to green Vulture. As well, there are like 18 different layers of thematic
man.
switching
That's
with that
great.
simple color switch of that stoplight. It's like there's so many. It's a change in tone, a change in realization. It's a signal. It's a signal of realization. It's a signal of change in action. It's a signal of change in character. It's just that's a weirdly fantastic moment.
I'd say it's like the ending of Force Awakens, where the color tone symbolism was obvious and cheesy, but I still loved it. Like I'm glad they did it that
Yeah.
way.
yeah.
Your computer's dying.
Oh, did you not plug it in?
Shit. Grab my bag. There should be the charger in there.
Technical difficulties. Ah!
And now that we fixed Derek's mistake,
You're a mistake.
Oh,
Stay.
oh shit.
Don't
Okay,
chairs breaking.
No, I hit the table. I would just look. Oh, what? Oh yeah. Oh right, it's me. What was
This is a condenser
What is
microphone.
your
It's
number
sensitive to vibration.
Oh right. Velcro.
Well, he's
experiment.
not doing anything.
Velcro
He did
experiment.
Velcro, not Velcro.
Velcro
The
experiment.
Velcro experiment. Not very
I
interesting.
mean,
It just talked.
we got to see what this Velcro sticks to. We'll stick to Derek. All right, let's find out. All right.
It was very boring,
But-
man.
Sorry to interrupt you. Go
I
ahead.
can acknowledge that this movie isn't a very high budget, high quality movie.
Okay,
Was it?
no,
Huh?
I would argue it is high quality. Doesn't have to be.
It definitely wasn't
That
high
was
budget,
not
but it
low
was. It
quality.
was.
Wait, was it high budget?
No,
No.
that's
No,
what I'm
he's-
saying.
he's
It doesn't
disputing
matter
the
that it's
quality.
high budget.
Okay, not.
But you saying it's not high quality, I completely disagree. It was
Okay,
super high quality.
I mean, I'm thinking.
I can't think of a low
I mean,
quality
compared
thing in
to
that movie.
things that have been honorable mentions, stuff like that, that's what I'm talking about.
I don't. I still think it's up there.
Yeah, it's
it's okay.
in terms of quality, I can't think of a single thing wrong with its quality.
Okay, fine, but
Actually, just so
you know what?
I'm gonna put that on my Amazon wish list.
That's surprisingly good.
What the Velcro experiment?
Yeah.
Okay, but
I mean, Iron Sky is low quality.
I mean, since
Oh,
I
that
can't.
movie's just-
Iron
Since I
Sky
can't get a
is technically low quality, but
Iron
that's super
Sky
fun.
is so good.
Velcro experiment is high quality.
Since I can't get a polo with the Belco logo on it or anything,
I mean, you can always custom make it.
yeah,
But
You're a graphic designer.
that doesn't mean I can embroider
You
a shirt.
can replicate things and custom
doesn't mean
make
I
a
can-
shirt.
Replicate would I just have to download the logo as far as
There we
you got a
go.
very.
That doesn't mean I can embroider a shirt.
Okay,
So go on about
whatever.
Malcolm
Yeah,
Thomas.
but I know this movie isn't has high budget and as a lot of other movies, but oh man, it was so fun.
I
It
can
was so
argue
fun
a
to
lot
watch.
about budget. Budget. has nothing to do with the
Stop!
quality
I
of the
get
movie.
it. But you know what I mean. It was just such a good movie. I also really wish that Dr. Cox won, but you know. What are you gonna do?
Oh god, I actually really liked not in the way that you guys would think, but I really loved Dr. Cox's character in this movie. Not in I think he's
What's
a good
his
person,
actual
but I
name?
loved him as a.
Hold
I
on,
don't
what's his
think
actual
His name is Dr. Cox.
His name is Dr. Cox.
Yeah.
No, what's his
His name is Dr. Cox.
What is the actual actor's name?
But no,
Dr.
I-
Cox guy.
Oh,
His character's name is Dr. Cox.
Dr. Cox guy.
I'm just gonna call him Dr. Cox. 'Cause I don't know the actor's name.
But I would just love it. I know.
even in other movies, I'm like, oh, hey, it's Dr. Cox.
Also, I do love how when they put the actor for Merle in there, they made it seem like he was going to be kind of the more crazy character who was going to be like one of the bigger problems.
Which one was he?
He
But then
dies
I know,
instantly
he was-
though.
Wait, which one was he? Also,
the one who gets his
spoiler.
skull bashed in.
Yeah.
Oh,
Very
that's
beginning,
right.
just even if you don't watch The Walking Dead or anything he's been in, you see him and you're just like, oh, this guy's gonna be trouble for everyone.
Yeah.
he's gonna go
No,
nuts.
I guess not.
Nope, the biggest show.
Spoilers.
Yeah,
No, I just said that was like.
it's a minor spoiler compared to like the overall
Oh,
plot
yeah,
of the film.
spoiler. Dr. Cox didn't win.
You know what?
You spoiled the end of the movie.
You know
with the
what? You
first
know
thing
what?
you said.
I'm leaving it up. Y'all, okay, here's the thing now. Y'all had the
Everything
spoiler at the
Isaiah
beginning.
says will
Y'all
be
had the
spoilers.
spoiler at the beginning. Y'all knew what was going to happen. It's not my
Well,
fault.
except
You
for
read.
then multiple
I
of
don't
us
care.
vocalized that we would try and avoid
That's
spoilers.
them. They want to go
And
through this. I'm
so
editing this video.
Isaiah-
I'm putting the spoiler warning at
So-
the beginning. You know whatever we say is spoiler.
Isaiah
That's what I'm
specific
doing.
spoiler warning. Everything he says is subject to spoilers.
Whenever he's talking, just fast forward until
You
it's
are
done.
I
trying to be
edited.
nice
You saw
people.
the spoiler
Just
warning.
do what you
Just
normally
skip
do.
everything he says.
Just do what you normally do. If a black guy's talking, ignore it.
Oh god!
I'm not editing that out.
Oh god!
I'm not editing that out. I am keeping that fully in.
Oh,
Jesus, man.
Wow.
that someone is.
Can you prove that our listeners aren't extremely racist?
I really hope not.
I hope my listeners are extremely racist. Other than that, okay, fine. Velcro Experiment. I really liked it. It was a fun movie. Also, it'll never happen, but I do hope that Scrubs becomes canon in that world.
It
And it's
literally
just-
couldn't happen.
I know it couldn't happen, but I'd love it. And it's just like
Maybe it
like
takes
right
place
after
after the school.
yeah, after the school one, school gets shut down.
School
like,
gets
he's
shut down.
struggling
Dr.
for
Cox
words.
is like, I gotta do
He gets
something.
changes
depressed.
his ID.
He gets depressed. Slowly starts to become a little bit like insane because he doesn't have a job. Wife leaves him. He wants to leave the country. Just like I need to get away from it. All comes to this place.
Changes
we've
his
already seen
ID,
insane
becomes a
depressed
completely
cops
different
on
character.
I mean, we know, but this is like this
is
comes
like-
this comes
No,
with
I mean
brutal Cox.
it's literally not possible because he mentions a military history.
Oh yeah.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I did mention-
Wait, no,
I know,
not
he's
him.
a
It
double
was the
agent.
boss that was the military history. He did it.
Are you
Did
sure?
multiple
Yeah.
people?
I thought
I
there
thought
were
there was
multiple.
multiple.
Were there
I
multiple?
swear there were
Okay.
multiple military.
I thought it was just the boss. You
No.
guys.
That's
could be
why
right.
I think that's.
Okay.
I think
You know what? I think
Spoiler warning!
I can't remember. I think we should rewatch it.
yeah.
I'm down.
I agree.
Yes, and also
Yeah.
spoiler for those who
'Cause, yeah.
who can't read the beginning of the first 15 seconds
Actually,
of the
saying
video.
that there are multiple people with military histories is not actually a big spoiler.
No, I was
It
just
doesn't-
what I was about to say. That's what I said.
Whoa,
You know.
there's people in this movie? Fuck, you
no,
ruined the whole thing.
but like,
Dude, I
that's
was
the-
watching it to
that's the
find
reason-
out if people appear.
Hold on, but no, that's the reason why. Like,
I mean, to
like
be fair,
they-
it might be a spoiler.
oh my
for
god,
us.
dude! Come on, man, this is gonna drag on if you keep doing this.
I mean, you're the one dragging it on.
You're the one that keeps interrupting me because you love to hear yourself talk. Anyways,
I only did one of the interruptions.
I'm done. Go. Say your four.
No.
Say your four.
No.
Say it. Fine,
I'm gonna
Isaac.
drag
Say your
this
four.
on.
Fine, Isaac. Say your four. You don't get a four. Isaac, say your four.
I don't know. I'm not. It's not my turn yet.
I don't care. We're skipping Alex because he wants.
No.
Because
I
he
think we
wants
should
to
put
be
the
in
vote. Who
pain.
wants to skip me and who
Oh
wants
my
Isaiah to
God.
continue
Dude,
what
come
he's saying?
on.
All right, so what's your 4, Alex?
And
Come
this is
on.
why I hate doing the podcast as a whole.
Come on, dude. Seriously.
Because you're all
Alright.
cunts.
Jesus.
My 4 is gonna have to be Dunkirk.
Yeah?
Kill yourself.
Dunkirk.
Well, someone feels strongly about Dunkirk.
You saw it, I didn't.
I actually, with Dunkirk specifically, there are scenes in this movie. It's one of those few movies where I actually have no idea how they filmed some of them. I mean, with some of the scenes with the sinking ships and you had people who happen to swim away from that, I'm actually wondering, because I know that was all done with actual ships. So did they actually have people in these sinking ships, like, swimming away? And if so, like, that could not have been easy
The
to do.
liability insurance.
Yeah,
that was
exactly.
involved would have
That's
been
what I'm thinking.
Skyrocketing.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
was amazingly filmed. It's like not only just the cinematography, but the effects they were able to get away with using. Beautiful.
Yeah, fantastic movie. Fantastic effects, fantastic pacing, fantastic use of sound, fantastic use of everything.
Yeah.
Actors, it's just everything was. I can't really think of anything wrong with it.
The one thing that people keep complaining about is when it comes to like how there's no real character building, but it's like that's not the point of the film.
It's
though.
not the point. Is
Yeah.
the film isn't even about characters.
It's not. Yeah.
It's about an event. It's about what happened during this thing, and yeah. But except for there was character development too for the characters involved. There were people that you didn't know if they were going to be selfish and survive. There were people that chose to sacrifice themselves. There were people that were selfish the entire movie who chose to do something to sacrifice themselves. No characters involved. No spoilers. I don't think necessarily.
yeah.
No. But there were developments of multiple characters. Some characters didn't need development because their role wasn't one of development. Their role was one of just something that happened, something they chose to do, and something that the end of the story was about them being part of something bigger.
Yeah.
It was great.
It was. And then, like, I liked how it was able to be, like, it's not the most brutal war movie I've ever seen, but it was very, very brutal for a PG-13 movie, because it kind of shows you definitely don't need that R rating
I
to
think it's-
show how violent war can be, and this movie proves that.
I think it's literally the most mature PG-13 movie I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that like blood and guts everywhere, maturity. No, mature is in like it was actually like the themes around it were mature. What it showed and depicted was fairly mature. How people dealt and showed it, and it was mature. It dealt with things like corpses being looted and people being abandoned and people murdering each other over nothing. And it dealt with these very mature themes. A lot of different mature themes very often, but without losing any sense of pace, without losing a sense of focus. And it's probably one of the only non-linear stories that's ever really worked. It just straight up worked how they told it.
I will agree that it worked, but I wouldn't say it's not the only non-linear.
I said one of.
Oh, one of. Okay,
Yeah,
fair enough.
I can count probably on one hand the number of non-linear stories in film that I can say absolutely worked, and this is one of the only ones.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's some movies that are like based on non-linearity.
I'm
What
sure.
was it called? Memento or what was it called?
I mean, there was
I don't
Memento, although
Memento.
that was kind of linear, just in the
Butterfly
reverse.
effect?
That literally makes it non.
There's a few that I'm sure I could probably think of that would make it more than 5, but I can't think of them right now, so I'm just going to agree with you for now.
I can think of only a handful. The Fountain,
Memento was fantastic.
Memento, Dunkirk. God, I just have.
I liked Batman
Arrival.
Begins.
Arrival.
Batman Begins on linear.
Yeah,
Was it?
because remember he was Batman, and then it would flash back to him training to become Batman. Same with Deadpool. That counts as non-linear, I think.
Does it?
Does it? When it's like showing like
Don't know.
Does that not-
because
Because if
in,
they're
in
referencing
the
it-
context of the story, it is linear. He's remembering an event
Yeah.
that happened.
was he remembering it though, or was it just like
He was.
I remember it just happening
I don't
like
remember
in certain
in- I
places.
I don't remember
Deadpool?
Batman Begins
Batman?
being. I don't remember them going back.
I
and showing
remember
things.
the
I remember it
beginning
being
was
linear.
him.
Yeah, the
and
beginning
where
was
he-
him becoming Batman.
Yeah.
He wasn't Batman
Was
in
it-
the beginning.
I just swore. Okay,
Yeah, it
maybe
was
I'm
him
wrong.
going
Never
through the
mind.
training
Yeah.
ground.
I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen Batman Begins. I just pretty sure he
I have
was
a feeling
Batman towards the
Begins
beginning.
was linear.
I don't think it was. I don't know. I have to rewatch it now.
Anyway.
All right.
Partially or something.
You know what?
I
I'm
don't
okay
know.
with rewatching Batman Begins. There are worse movies to rewatch,
it's-
like
it's on
The
our
Dark
video
Knight
account.
Rises or Batman vs Superman. Much worse.
Dark
Or
Knight Rises, I
Justice
think, is a
League.
good movie, just not as good as it should be.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, Dark Knight is still probably up there in my top 5
yeah.
superhero movies. Yeah, Dunkirk.
My number 4 is actually the same as Derek's. I put Spider-Man: Homecoming.
All right.
Not much more I could say about it. Just there was a lot of really good action I liked. There was some really good humor. I loved Tom Holland as both Peter Parker and Spider-Man.
While it's not my favorite Spider-Man suit or my favorite Spider-Man film, it's really close to my favorite Spider-Man film, and really close to my favorite Spider-Man suit, and is probably the best overall Spider-Man movie in terms of actual quality.
It has been my favorite Spider-Man movie and my favorite live-action Spider-Man.
And it's my favorite Peter Parker, definitely.
And my favorite live-action
I
movie.
loved Andrew Garfield, but Tom Holland is just.
I would agree. Tom Holland is really good as Peter Parker. Is my favorite live action.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So my number 3, because now we are moving on to number 3.
Dun, dun, dun.
Logan. Going back to more comic book movies. This was a perfect ending, I think, for the Wolverine. While it's actually not my favorite X-Men movie, I still think that goes to Days of Future Past. It's really close up there. Like, I would probably say this is my second favorite. And Hugh Jackman and Patrick Stewart both give a phenomenal performance for their final film. And if there's any note to go out on, this is the note you go out on. I was so happy that it ended this way. I am sad because of a recent interview that I heard from Hugh Jackman that, he kept saying from before, back in 2015, like, or actually before that, sorry,
Yeah, it was
since
before that.
2012, how he's been wanting to do Avengers, and he's like always thought like he could always picture himself in all these Marvel movies in his own role. And he says now, as Infinity War's coming out, he said, and as Disney has bought Fox, he says, I would have loved to have done it, but I feel like my time's already passed. So I'm a little sad that we're not going to be seeing that anytime soon, as far as we know. But
I'm a little bit sad,
yeah.
but I'm also a little bit glad because
Yeah,
it's time we have a Wolverine that actually looks like Wolverine.
that's fair
on
enough.
top of that, after Logan, as much as I would love to see him,
That
do
was
more,
the perfect.
It
Spider-Man
was.
I
song.
don't want
That
him
was-
to ruin that as an ending.
Exactly.
That
I want
was-
that to be a send off because it was just
Yeah.
such a perfect send off for
Yeah.
him. If there's any note to go out on this, is
I
how you do
totally
it.
agree.
Yeah.
He at least did the character.
Also, it's funny. Like,
Right, he
so I
defined the
thought,
character for an entire generation.
Yeah.
one last thing I'll say is I thought, the Wolverine, the second Wolverine movie was an okay movie. It was
thought the
fun.
Wolverine
Was that the one in
yeah.
he goes
Japan.
to Japan?
Yeah,
I
I
like
thought that
one.
was a
I
fun
like
film.
That was good.
But it's so funny. Rarely do you see in a trilogy where the third movie is not only the best, but it's also probably the only one that's actually really good. Because I like the Wolverine, but I wouldn't say
I
it's
like
that
how you're
good.
saying trilogy.
Well,
It's more of a sextology.
no, Wolverine.
X,
if
1,
we're
2, and 3 were all Wolverine movies.
but if we're counting just the ones that only star Wolverine,
Focus
I'm-
on him.
I mean,
yeah.
that's the thing, though. The focus of X1, X2,
Yeah,
and
didn't
X3
they-
were on Wolverine.
Yeah, didn't a
There
good portion
is
of the movie
not
went to
argument.
War?
Did they make an X-Men movie that didn't focus on him?
No, yeah, well, yeah. First,
you wanna-
first
to be
class,
fair-
Apocalypse-
first class,
Apocalypse-
Apocalypse,
And Deadpool, if that counts.
Deadpool,
Probably doesn't count.
No,
the
I
one
think
after
I think
first
it
class.
Because Days of Future Past
Oh,
focused
no,
on him.
actually-
That was him.
But yeah,
There's
so
only
Love that
two.
Quicksilver scene.
There's only 2 movies that did focus on him, so
Wow,
it's
that's-
actually the Wolverine universe.
three.
It is
not
the
the X-Men.
Wolverine
This
universe.
is the
There were a
Wolverine
couple. There were
universe.
2 side shoot stories.
No, but like legit, he was
Yeah.
actually the main focus of the first 3 X-Men movies.
But I mean, in terms of just the standalone Wolverine movies.
Yeah, well, the movie was
Yeah.
all
Okay.
about him.
Yeah, in terms of those 3 movies.
But that's the thing.
Yeah.
I would actually argue that X-Men Origins was less about Wolverine than X1 or X2 was. X2 was straight up a Wolverine film. It was a Wolverine Origins film. Even more than X-Men Origins Wolverine.
And
But,
I would
that's
argue
not
that.
even, I don't even think I'm exaggerating. It actually had more about his origin.
And I would argue, who cares about X-Men Origins Wolverine? Let's just-
What is this X-Men origin? Or X-Men Wolverine's origins? It's like a weird anime thing.
I mean, it doesn't even exist in any of the other timelines of X-Men. It exists in its own separate universe, so... Like, even within the original X-Men trilogy, it doesn't exist because...
Technically, it does, though. So technically, you can combine it into the X1, X2, X3 trilogy, but because the X1, X2, X3 trilogy branches, you just have to say that there's a duplicate X1, X2, X3 trilogy that's the same except for this.
So a parallel X1,
There is
X2.
a parallel X1, X2, X3 that is exactly the same except for X-Men Origins Wolverine is canon.
That would still put it in
makes
its own
there are
universe,
multiple
though.
branches.
I would still put it in its own
It
universe.
is, but it's its own universe with 3 other movies.
To quote Deadpool, these timelines are way too confusing.
Yeah.
All right, so Derek, you're number 3.
My number 3 is also Logan.
All right.
Okay,
Oh.
can I just mention this now then? My
Yeah.
number
No.
3 is also Logan.
Okay.
like
Hold on, let me check.
My number 3.
Okay, it's not my number 3.
My number 3 is Logan as well.
We have 4 people whose number 3 is Logan. It did something right.
Yeah.
And almost perfect, apparently.
I'm just gonna say this.
I'm gonna minor spoiler for this podcast. It's on my list.
The reason that for me,
My turn, damn it.
oh fine. I mean,
I know, but
by you first my teeth, then my eyes, now my head.
That's what you get.
I'm not
Breaking, I say.
chucking at you.
And
I'm tossing
honestly, at this point, since it's like on like majority.
Yeah,
of
except
threes-
for it is his turn next,
okay,
so he gets.
fine,
Yeah.
fine,
Yeah.
fine.
So, pretty much what Stern said, I am absolutely extremely happy that Hugh Jackman will not return as Wolverine. I actually would have thoroughly hated the introduction and the inclusion of X-Men into the Avengers universe. I would have hated Logan if that were to happen because
While
I
would
view
agree
the
that
ending
I
as the
prefer-
most perfect send-off. It wasn't so much a send-off, but it was more of a thank you letter.
Okay, but
From
you
Hugh
actually
Jackman and
hate
Patrick
Hugh
Stewart.
Jackman being in the Avengers universe.
I
Because
would if he was Wolverine.
I can definitely
Especially
say that
after
I prefer,
Logan.
Why I can definitely say I prefer him not to be by a lot. I can't say I'd hate it. He's defined
I would hate it
Wolverine
because
for an
of Logan.
entire cinematic, at least 2 cinematic generations, both pre-superhero and post-superhero generations of cinema. He defined Wolverine as a character. I wouldn't be angry at them for doing it. I'd be disappointed.
I would still hate it because of Logan. If
the
Logan
only-
didn't happen, I would have been okay with it.
The only way
But
I
it's
would
the fact of the ending was just
Perfect.
it was flawless. It was a flawless goodbye. Thank you for watching it all these years.
Just so it doesn't get spoiled.
Thank you.
Please, no one spoil the ending. Like, not even have a spoiler alert for it. No one say what the ending is. Because people who haven't watched it deserve to have that fully intact and not accidentally have it spoiled.
Yeah.
No, I agree. That was my thing coming into one of the two things of all four lists, and you know what the second one is for me. It's not in movies, but you know.
The only way I would have actually hated them for it is if they pointed out that his character in the Marvel Universe was after Logan. If they put him before Logan, I could deal with it.
Yeah, like what if they said there was a branch off of Days of Future Past? Like Days of Future Past caused so many branching timelines that it just one of them.
Yeah.
is
It's just
As
the
long
fact
as
of-
Logan is the last movie with Wolverine, I can deal with it.
I would be
in the
extremely
timeline.
bothered just because of it was like the most perfect send off. It was like it wasn't a retirement of like
the actors themselves, but it's a retirement of the actors in
it
those
wasn't
movies.
of like the retirement of these characters in the story. It's the retirement of these actors from these characters. That's it.
I do get what you're saying.
not gonna have
I'm
it
not
again.
saying I wouldn't be like, I wouldn't have negative feelings if he went into like a Marvel Cinematic Universe.
I would
just
logically
wouldn't hate
accept,
it unless it took place after.
I
Logan.
would accept the fact that branching story or universes and everything, that'd be perfectly fine. It makes sense because of how comic books work. I would still hate it though.
It'd be really.
It would be. It would.
You just hate the idea of them screwing up.
It
and
would be
ending like
the
that.
dick in the pudding.
It would
That's
be
the way I can describe it. It's the
It
dick
can
that was
still be
dipped in the
perfect
pudding.
everywhere else, but
I know
someone still
what
has to
happened.
sucker.
I
No.
put so much effort into that pudding, and now all I can think of is what you did to it.
That's
I mean, I'll still eat around where the dick didn't touch. Just saying.
Now I gotta scoop out this bit, and that's
I gotta put
that
in more
much
work.
less pudding.
I gotta like forget about it. Oh, fuck.
There's
gotta
that
make it
much
a
less
pudding
pudding.
Yeah. Now it's your turn.
I mean,
So anyway,
Well, my number
it's
3.
gonna be a running joke. If we do this for a long time, it's gonna be the running joke.
Honestly, what makes it a running joke is that you comment on it.
And
If you
I'll
did,
tell you what makes it a running joke is if we do it for a long time.
yeah,
okay, what would encourage us to make it a running joke is the fact that you acknowledge it.
I know. I just probably shouldn't have done that.
Just
But,
comment
yeah,
on
Just
the movie.
go.
I mean, there's not much else to say.
Yes, there is. If you don't want to talk, I will.
I know, but it's not your
What's
turn
your
now,
stance?
is it?
What's your
that's
stance
it.
on the entire MCU potentially having X-Men and Hugh Jackman being Wolverine and everything?
So I would also just not want it just because it.
But would you
See,
be angry about it? Because I don't.
I
None of
wouldn't
us
be
want it. But all of us.
I don't think it'd
But
be
he's
angry.
the only one who's angered.
I don't know if I'd be angered about it, but I definitely look at it. If Hugh Jackman came back as Wolverine, it'd be like, this is weird. No, like, just because I do agree, like the entire thing, the entire ending, it was nice, it was beautiful, it was touching, and for them to just be like, okay, we're gonna put you in the MCU, it's just like, but why though? Why though? This was just a testament to everything you've done, and you're just like, no. It's best analogy, and you're probably gonna be the only one that like gets this. It's like Shawn Michaels' retirement,
Oh my god.
and then you bring him back to like fight Brock Lesnar. It's like, why would you do
I know,
that?
don't they do that a lot?
Huh?
They do that a lot.
Not with Shawn
They
Michaels.
do that a lot.
I just mean with
No, I mean,
wrestlers in general.
no, I know,
Someone who
I know.
doesn't know much about the WWE. I know
No,
that
no, no,
happens
no,
a
no. I know,
lot.
no. I know. With wrestlers, it happens a lot, but I mean with Shawn Michaels in particular.
I never saw his retirement, so I don't.
It was a nice retirement. It was a nice retirement, and he had.
I just know at one point I found out he wasn't wrestling.
Yeah, well, it was a nice retirement, and he hasn't wrestled since. So that's
And I was just kind of like, oh, no DX.
whatever. He hasn't wrestled since, and I like it that way. As same. I just don't want him in. Find somebody else. Do
That's
not
the thing.
bring
I
him
liked him, but again, I wasn't even
as
sad
long
that
as-
he was gone. I was sad that DX.
As
was
long as
gone.
we're talking about screwed up analogies of retirements, you know what it would be equivalent to? It would have been equivalent. Major spoilers for Star Wars: The Last Jedi.
Oh boy.
Here we go.
The actual good analogy would be them bringing them bringing Logan out of retirement would be equivalent to them not retiring Princess Leia in Episode 8.
I mean, yeah, but it's
Yeah, that's
We've already discussed
Yeah.
this.
I have
Episode
problems.
9, first 2 scenes, she's in a
Spoilers
coma.
over.
Move on.
Yeah, but also that's how you would do it wrong. I'm saying that it's the same feeling that I got. I mean, obviously, like...
Same feeling.
No, because that feeling is like, why? With Shawn Michaels, it was like, nice retirement, don't come back, though.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just saying it would be the same feeling for me between the Star Wars analogy and the Logan analogy.
He was relating it to himself.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, it's yourself. Whatever. Yeah,
And most movie audiences.
okay.
All right.
I don't know how this hasn't been mentioned yet. Moving on to the actual topic at hand. X-23, best child actor and one of the best performances of any child actor in all of cinema
It's funny
history.
you say that. I was actually just bringing up, and I forgot to use this as an example. It's really hard now when you see a really bad child actor to be like, oh, we'll go easy on him. He's a kid actor because we have X-23 and Stranger Things,
and
Super 8.
Super 8.
And it's like,
just
we
all
have
these
good
movies and
kid
TV shows with
actors.
Kid actors are actually legitimately great.
Yeah.
Like, there's no excuse anymore. There isn't. There
Yeah.
are good child actors out there who've never even been found.
And, you know,
Hey, you
maybe-
little brat, step up your game.
Yeah, I'm not saying
Get good.
Obviously, I'm not saying don't fucking do what like everyone did to what's his face, the kid that
Anakin.
played Anakin. Yeah. And same with the kid that played Will Wheaton. Will Wheaton. Sorry, I meant
kid that played Will
Wheaton.
The kid that's played Wesley. My bad, Will Wheaton.
Wesley.
Don't
Wesley, not Wesley.
Shut up,
Wesley. Yeah. Do not
Shut up,
send
Wesley.
them death threats or don't be like assholes. But at the same time, if you're
Stranger
reviewing-
Things is the baseline. If you're not that good, get out of acting.
Oh my god.
Okay, to be fair, it should be the baseline for child acting.
Yeah.
It had great child
It
actors.
It has one of the kids.
Yeah,
From
one of the
Stranger
kids from
Things.
Stranger Things.
It does.
Same with Super 8.
it
I mean, it
does.
doesn't have one of the kids from Stranger Things, but Super 8 had
Yeah.
really good
Yeah.
kid actors. So yeah, I'm just saying, like, if you're reviewing a movie and a kid
Yeah.
sucks in it, don't be like,
Then
"Oh,
the
he's
movie
a
is
kid."
terrible.
Yeah, no,
Just be like, no, he was a bad
if
actor.
If a kid does shite, mention that the kid does shite, and that's a reason not to watch the movie or to treat it more harshly. It's not.
Yeah.
You shouldn't dance around that.
Yeah.
Like, we've had very clear evidence now that child actors
Don't harass the kid.
Yeah,
That's it.
Yeah, don't harass.
don't-
it. You
don't
shouldn't
harass.
Never.
Please
harass
don't
anyone.
harass the kid.
Don't even harass like adult
Yeah.
actors because they
Really?
actually
There,
Yeah.
there, there are very few people on Earth you should harass, and they're people like Trump, Kim Jong Un,
Henry Weinstein.
Ajit, whatever
Henry
his last name is.
Weinstein.
Conor
there
McGregor?
are people who are like
Kanye West.
You should harass
Kanye West.
Kanye West, Kim Kardashian.
harass people
Everyone
who've
I
done
hate.
evil things or don't
Like the
really-
Kardashians.
or have the potential to like screw up the entire world.
Like
Not-
the Kardashians.
Not an actor. Do not go after an actor for an acting thing, please.
Unless it's
mean,
unless it's a non-acting related.
Like I said, that's
like
why I
Kevin
said for an
Spacey.
acting thing.
Yeah.
And unless, I
Like,
mean,
if you want
like,
to go after Kevin Spacey and say no one should hire him because he's a child molester, cool.
Yeah.
That's fine. If you want to say Kevin Spacey shouldn't be hired because he's shit at acting, that's not cool.
Yeah.
That's
okay,
not fine.
but what about Jared Leto?
I mean, I'd say he molests my ears every time. I say he molests my eyes every time I see him.
I
And he
mean,
molests my tongue every time I have fucking melon.
I mean, if you want to harass him because he harassed his cast members in Suicide Squad, that's
Oh,
one thing
God.
too.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
if you want to be like, yeah, don't hire him because he harasses your staff. Yeah,
He
that's-
said
that's
dead
fine.
rats and condoms. Don't do it.
Yeah.
With
So-
that being said about the harassing the Kardashian things, don't harass them. Flip them off instead.
yeah.
Or laugh at them.
But yeah,
I would just like
yeah.
to say we're not
X-23
legitimately
though.
asking you to
Like,
harass people.
oh my
Yeah,
God, yeah.
please.
In a year, or even set of years, with particularly good child actors all around, with Stranger Things coming out, she still stands out as a extremely adept actor. She was vicious when she needed to be vicious. She was a kid when she needed to be a kid. She was everything she needed to be in that role. She was. I'm looking forward to that girl's career.
So here's a funny thing when it comes to horror movies. One complaint I always give them is, why are they trying to make kids scary? Kids aren't scary. This movie's an exception,
Dude,
She is
this kid
frightening.
is scary.
She's
First of
like,
all,
if
don't
I
let her
saw her
fuck with me.
coming up to me, I'd be like, no. I'd be like the guy with the
No.
robot arm. No,
No.
no.
Okay, first of all, apparently you haven't
Drop
been
it.
to.
Drop it.
Apparently
No.
you haven't been to like a daycare or like a ball
You
pit.
clearly never
Because
seen
kids are
Japanese horror.
definitely scary.
Yeah.
You've clearly never seen Japanese horror.
I
In
actually have
Japanese
not.
horror, like
Those kids are
children
scary.
are scary.
Okay.
Those kids
In
are
American
borderline
horror, children aren't scary.
Yeah.
Children are not scary. They can be the victims of scariness. They are not scary themselves. But in Japan, in Japanese horror, or like
in
in
certain
certain things, like
situations, they
have you ever
could be.
seen like what was it, The Ring? What was
The
the one?
Grudge.
No,
The Grudge or the
Oh no!
Shit scares me.
I tell you what, if
Children-
Junji Ito made a story about a daycare,
No.
you would never go near a child again.
Oh,
Dude,
God.
I swear,
I would not wanna have
everything from
children.
The Grudge feels like it came from the,
Joke's on you, Isaac.
Sorry,
I never want to go to a daycare or near children ever again.
Fair enough. You
enough.
probably shouldn't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Junji Ito doesn't need to do that. I already did that to myself.
yeah.
It all started when a child headbutted her. Sorry, headbutted the counter while I was at work. Just lined up. 1, 2, bam! Ow! Like, that's what happens, you fucking idiot.
For me, it all started when I saw a kid. I was like, "Ew, get the thing away from me."
And he was like 4.
Okay, actually, no, that's actually kind of
Worst
a funny
part
story.
is I can see him doing that.
Yeah.
like 90% of my friends as a kid were over the age of 20.
What?
I'm not lying.
Are you okay?
Did someone hurt you?
Where on the water bottle did they touch you?
It wasn't even like that. I just chose to hang out with the parents more than I chose to hang out with the kids.
Oh my god. See, mine's.
We love you.
See, mine's. Mine's.
We were joking. We didn't know we actually were striking a chord there.
I know. See,
You're not striking a chord. I just think it's funny that you actually noted something.
See, mine started with when a kid
When
didn't
you
like
lost
his
your
drink, and see that was an adult though. But mine started when a kid didn't like his drink and threw it at my pants. That's when I realized I'm like, man,
I hate kids. Yeah.
Mine happened when one of them was complaining to their dad that their OJ had pulp in it. Sad part is I was 19
how
at
about
the
you
time.
know what? How about we switch the top before I get mad? Who's next? I'm getting
What
enraged.
is your number 3, given that it's different from all of ours?
My number 3 was It.
Hey,
All
yeah,
right.
right.
Speaking of child
Deserving
actors.
to be in the top list.
What a
Thoroughly
good
enjoyed it.
transition.
When I first saw the ads for it and I saw like the character they got for Pennywise, I was like, oh god, no, they've ruined this. This is gonna be terrible. And then I saw it and I'm like, okay, like even in like the first
Dude,
like
I
5
actually
minutes.
really love the actor.
The
for
first
Pennywise.
5 minutes, I'm like, okay, this is a fantastic Pennywise. I was wrong. They got the right actor.
Okay, wait.
You want a balloon?
So, just real quick, I haven't seen it, but all you have, right?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I'm buying it as
You-
soon
okay,
as I,
no,
as soon
but-
as I get my paycheck, I'm buying it, and so
Okay,
we
but
should watch
okay,
it.
I'm
Because
down.
I'm
love
down
it.
to watch it
I'm
again.
down,
I'd
but
love
there's
to
wait,
see
wait.
it again.
Wait, hold on.
It's a great movie.
Okay, but
It's kinda
just
great.
real quick. So you guys all know like the scene that was memed with like Pennywise like.
The weird
Yeah.
dance.
Yeah.
So like every time I watch it, I don't know if it's the actual file somebody uploaded, but it seems like his face is weirdly like
No, yeah,
CGI'd on the.
No, what they do is they motion track his face. So his face is always aligned and center with the
Yeah,
shot.
and it's consistent with
Okay.
other shots in the movie, so it won't look as fake when it's in the context of the movie.
Okay.
I could see it looking kind of fake if that's all you've seen.
Yeah, I was
but in the context of the movie,
It
stuff
definitely-
like that happens multiple times.
And it definitely looks
And it-
weird
yeah.
regardless, but it's definitely not CGI. That is the actor's face.
Yeah.
Okay, I
And,
was just like, oh my god.
A lot of the faces that you see him make, Bill Skarsgård, is that his name?
I believe
I
so.
think
Yeah.
so.
The cross-eyed thing he does, that's him. And
yeah.
then
He's-
all those weird flexibility things that he does where he comes out of like a little cabinet all like, crunched up. That was him as an actor. He's able to do
the
that.
biggest shame about that eye thing is because of the lighting. It looks CGI. It looks so
I know.
fake.
I know, but it isn't.
But
yeah,
it isn't
that's the
fake.
funny part about
And
it, yeah.
I'm so disappointed. I guess I'm not so disappointed. I'm very disappointed for that specific thing in the effects team. Or whoever was responsible for the lighting on his eyes.
So that's something lighting is something that I almost never bring up because it doesn't. It always affects a movie, but isn't usually the most important thing for me. But with horror, it's maybe the single
massive
most
for
important
horror.
thing for me. Like, it makes a difference between Dead Space being a horror video game and Dead Space being an action video game. Dead Space 2, if it wasn't for the lighting team, is straight up an action game. but because of the lighting,
I
can
mean,
be
look
a
at
horror
Dead Space
thriller.
3.
Yeah.
I should say the first quarter of it when you're in the space station, it's just completely lit. It's colorful.
Yeah, no.
If it was dark, it would be
again,
completely
that's
different.
because of direction. That like the lighting team is still the same team.
It seemed a lot more lit though.
It's because of direction, because they were explicitly directed to do that, not because the lighting team got carte blanche to do the lighting they wanted to. With Dead Space 1 and 2, everything was a communication thing where they were doing this and doing this, and the lighting team was the most important thing. Dead Space 3, lighting is not what they were focusing on. They're focusing on action, and that is because they're trying to get Star Wars licenses and EA not to fire them all. So,
Anyway.
Anyway, but lighting wasn't particularly impressive in this movie.
Yeah.
It was a great movie despite it, but I cannot argue that lighting impressed me almost ever in this movie.
They definitely could have done a lot better.
With the there are like very explicit shots that are all about the lighting, and those are done pretty well. But it's the vast minority of scenes, and most scenes not only don't focus on lighting, but almost on purpose stop focusing on lighting. Like that, you could have made the entire last third of the movie so much more scary by just simply changing the lighting and how the lighting worked.
I also just the main thing, like kind of this is not going off of what he said, is completely separate. Which is I just really think it's odd that like I went from when they were just advertising movie trailers and stuff to going, oh man, I can't believe this is the Pennywise. I don't want to see this Pennywise too. Like after the movie, like I really wish there was more Pennywise in this movie. I love that.
We get a whole nother
nother movie, but it's just like
spoiler alert. There's a sequel.
And the kids have all chosen who they want to play them in the sequel.
Oh, is that a thing?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There was
they chose it really quickly after they like interviewed the kids, and they're like, "I want this person to play me."
That's cool. Wait, do they actually get those people? To play?
They're not.
I don't know.
We don't know that
they
those
put
aren't,
it into consideration.
We don't know that those aren't the people, but those were not guaranteed to be the people.
Yeah. It was just the kids just saying, if I had to choose who was going to play me as an adult, it'd be this person.
Oh god!
I immediately thought like I can't remember his name. The black kid in the movie.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
I just imagine what if he does like an
Racist.
Ozzy Osbourne, where Ozzy Osbourne in like an interview is like, "Who would you like to play you if they did a biography on you?" Denzel Washington. He does like I want Chris Pratt to play me. It's like
What?
what?
I'd be cool. Hey!
That's so weird.
I mean, I would be fine with Denzel Washington.
God, what are you
Are you saying there's something wrong with transracialism?
God.
Only when
So
Maybe
racist.
that little
Only
black
when
kid
it breaks
identifies as a white kid.
Only when it breaks the continuity of the story.
Hey, who says it does?
Unless
It can be part
Look
of
at
the
Michael
continuity.
Jackson.
Unless they add that-
here's
unless they
the thing.
explain
I can
that-
fit it. I
unless-
can fit it in the continuity. See,
You know
this
what?
person-
You know what?
No, this character was so uncomfortable with them and their past that they, on purpose, identified as a completely separate person after those events. Thus
okay.
making an in-can reason to identify as a different race.
If they can make it consistent, I don't have a problem with it.
Again,
I
I'm
don't.
just saying you can.
But if they just,
I'm just saying, man, it's that you automatically came out against it without thinking about how it could be done well. Just saying, you didn't give it a chance.
Nope, they're just
I
going
think
to...
you might be
Everyone
trans racist.
except me is horrendously racist.
Hey,
Oh.
hey,
You stupid Guatemalan.
They're just
stop it!
They're just gonna
Oh my
throw Chris
God.
Pratt in there, and they're not gonna explain why. It's
Yeah,
just gonna
no,
be a
like
thing.
if they just threw him in there without no explanation whatsoever,
No,
Not
that
even,
would bother
they
me.
won't even link
That
him to
means
the
you're
other
trans
kid.
racist.
It'll
No,
just
that
be
just
Chris
means
Pratt
that
there.
I like continuity in this
Transracial
story.
racist.
No, that just means I like continuity in the story.
Hey.
All right,
hey.
Stuart,
I'm
you're
saying
number
that
three.
They
there's
throw Chris
continuity
Pratt in there, and they're
turns into a
like,
white person.
"You don't look a
Leave it
day
alone.
older since the events of it. You look exactly the same."
Oh my god, the angry. Just
See
go.
face, so I wouldn't be able to tell.
You're
that
gonna
they-
make me angry, Stuart. Tell your
I,
thing.
unlike you, I don't see color. It's actually a problem.
Tell your thing.
The
Both of
light
you
turns a
need to
different
be
color.
quiet.
I don't
Both
notice
of you need
it.
to stop. You talk.
Speaking
This is
of
a disability.
I saw the
Speaking of,
movie in monochromatic.
Stop.
Speaking of something completely unrelated to what we were just talking about,
Let's go with your number two.
My number 2 is Coco.
Really?
Yeah. It was actually a very big surprise to me. I went in there, because I haven't been that impressed by a Pixar movie in a while. In fact, the
like
last
he-
one I
they're-
had seen was Pixar's Cars 3,
I heard that one.
I'm
also
sorry.
came out
which
this year,
I was
right?
not a fan of at all.
I mean, it wasn't terrible, but
it wasn't good.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
I mean, honestly, I
And
don't
the
expect
trailers
much
for
from the movie.
Coco, I honestly feel like we're trying to be as generic as possible. Like, we're trying
feel
to
like
not
I was
make
able
me
to predict half the plot
like-
of the movie based on the trailers.
maybe. But going to see it though, and it even felt like the beginning of it, they wanted you to think that it was going to be a very generic kids movie, but there is just a lot more emotion than I expected. And funny story, by the end of it, and it's not because the ending is sad. The ending is not sad at all. In fact, I'd actually say it's a very happy ending. But it's happy and emotional in a way that my girlfriend was actually crying on my shoulder. And I was trying hard not to shed a tear because I honestly think the ending was done so perfectly. I loved Miguel. He's the main character in this movie because he acted like a kid, but not to the point where he was annoying.
Oh,
he
just
acted.
because he's Mexican, his name Miguel.
Wow, you couldn't even tell he was Mexican? I thought he was just a kid.
I'm sorry.
Wow,
I'm
you calling him a kid? I thought he was just a human.
I just don't know how to reply.
I'm not
to that,
ageist like
I don't know how to reply to that. So.
Age.
Oh, don't comment.
So I'm just gonna.
Fine, I won't expend on that.
I'm just gonna go pretend that I didn't hear that. But basically, it's also like one of the few Pixar movies where I actually didn't see like. They make you think you know exactly where it's going, but then there's like a little extra layer that they kind of add on to there that was actually kind of unexpected of how they got to the ending you kind of saw coming. There was an extra layer that went into that I thought in it definitely was what added all the emotion to the end, and I think what made it a really good movie.
The extra layer.
And then what I like though is and what's so funny is that Miguel as a character will say like kind of funny things that it's like how kids will say something that they don't mean to be funny, but it just naturally is because it's just funny hearing a kid say that. Like one of them, for example,
It's funny that you're that dumb.
yeah, exactly. One of them, for example, is he goes to the underworld and he's like, I thought the Day of the Dead was just one of those fictional things that parents tell you about, like vitamins. And his grandma's like, vitamins are real, Miguel. He's like, well, you know what? Now I'm thinking they might be.
That was a great line.
Just things like that, like a lot of small things like that go into this and making it really good. Animation. Oh, when they get to the actual the World of the Dead. Oh my God, the production design for that whole world looks
that was
beautiful.
so detailed.
It
Animation
was.
in a Pixar movie was good.
Okay, yeah, I will admit, even in Cars 3,
Have you
Pixar
seen
does
Good
good
Dinosaur?
animation. So you know what?
I
It's,
would argue that Good Dinosaur is the best animation of any CG movie ever, and then also has the single worst. Right on top of it. It's like I borderline think I'm
The
looking
scenery
at a
was
photo.
amazing.
Like, it's a photo. It's photorealistic as fuck. And then there's this weird blob that they're saying is a dinosaur.
Yeah.
Then the weird blob they're saying is a human. The weird blob they're saying is a bird.
It's just blobs at this point.
So yeah.
The scenery's amazing.
If you're an adult and you don't have a kid to take to see Coco with you, don't worry about it. Just go see it. No one's gonna judge you. All right.
That is a lie.
Just
People
pick
will
up a
judge
kid
you.
on the way in.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Please, for the love of God,
There's always a bunch hanging around in the lobby.
For
Just
legal
hold it
reasons,
up.
you
I
know
should
what?
probably tell you not to do
Just
that.
you know what? Who cares what people think? You know what? Just go see Coco, even if you don't. As long as you go with a friend, no one's gonna judge
Just
you.
kidnap a child, kicking and screaming, just walking.
dude, you're going in a direction I don't like. Where you going, man?
With that being said, I'll let Derek go to his number 2.
Number 2 is John Wick 2. I fucking love this movie.
Yeah.
I think I was the first person that I knew that actually watched this movie.
You were the one that got me and Alex and Isaiah, and I don't know about Isaac. Did you see it because of Derek?
I definitely didn't see it on my own.
Okay.
I know for
for
sure.
sure.
Might have been
You
with
either
us.
saw it directly because of Derek or indirectly because of Derek because of us.
It was
Yeah.
definitely either directly or indirectly.
But either way, you're the
It was
reason that
because of
we
Derek
saw the
and
first
someone.
one.
Someone in this group took you to see this movie.
Yeah, you're the reason we saw the first one though.
And it was
yeah.
so...
Which is funny.
And
because-
I kept thinking you were overhyping it too.
Which is funny because the first time I watched it with you wasn't the first time I fully finished the movie. But We might tell that story later, maybe when it's appropriate. But
I was the first person to watch it in this group. I saw the first one on a pure whim. I had a couple people or customers at the time as I was working at the theater. And I'm like, man, that movie was like amazing. Like, holy hell. Like, that was not what I was expecting from Keanu Reeves, yada yada. I'm just like,
that movie made me believe in Keanu Reeves again. Even after I am an agent.
Hey, I've always believed in Keanu Reeves, so
I'm
Clearly
sorry.
never seen that scene then.
But
You've never
I-
seen
I'm
that
not
scene.
sure you've seen a lot of his movies, honestly. Like, he's in some good movies. He's not generally the reason they're good.
He's usually the opposite.
Yeah. But
he was the Jared
Saw it
Leto
on
before
a
Jared
whim.
Leto exists.
I watched the
He's
entire
not that
first
bad.
movie.
Well, he's not always that bad.
He's not. Yeah.
So I
Not-
watched the first one in theaters. Got so invested in everything. I was laughing. I was pumped. It was great. And then I went to go see John Wick 2 with, I think, all of you and like a few other people.
Mm-hmm.
And he can vouch for me. When it was just the opening credits, I was sitting there jumping in my seat like,
Yeah,
yes,
God.
I am Cornelio.
I think this is the only movie I could say you actually like. Because usually you're like straight focus laser, like you don't bother anyone.
Oh yeah, I
At this
couldn't,
point,
I
you're just
couldn't
like,
keep focused. I'm
John
like,
Wick, dude, John Wick. I'm like, dude, let go of me.
I was like, I was
I don't know you.
I was just sitting there jumping in my seat, freaking out. I was like a little girl at like a boy band concert with this one. Watched
Out of
it.
30 Seconds to Mars concert.
Jesus.
All the references man that we're making, just thinking about the
Getting
With your
into
fruit
it.
salad of mostly honey.
And slight spoilers for the most part. The beginning was just a great like homage to like how the first one was. Keanu Reeves doing his own stunts. It's nonstop. It starts with action and it just goes. And then it just does like a little playful nod of like, I know who you are. I'm sorry. Here's a shot of vodka. Please don't kill me.
Would you like a scotch?
And then it progresses from there on. Shit hits the fan for John Wick, and everything that was him in the previous film, they literally burn it in a fire. And
I
I'm
would
not
argue
exaggerating.
that it degresses from there.
Yeah.
And then it explores more of the world that John Wick had built up, where
I would say it ruins the world.
I wouldn't. I would actually say
No.
it just builds it even more.
So here's the thing. For me, it built the world even more, but not in the way I wanted to. I wanted it to.
Did you take my waters?
One. I didn't take the other. I only took one.
I might have taken your other one.
I had a water right here that I was drinking.
Water's
Yes, and it's empty now.
water's just going away
don't
like
think
in
you
an
can-
African
but,
village.
Yes, that was the one
But,
you were
okay,
drinking
I-
out
I,
of.
don't
I was
remember
hoping
finishing.
that they would take this world that was clearly a world, and they would expand it, not so that they expanded it in the way that they expanded Kingsman with Kingsman: The Golden Circle. They went from it being this clearly tight community of people who all know each other to it being something so big. I don't get how not everyone in the world knows about it or why it isn't a bigger thing. It didn't keep the semblance of tightness or community, even though it tried by having like the same three characters appear at like both locations and stuff. But it didn't really make sense that would happen like that.
Okay, I kind of see what you mean.
It expanded it too much. It expanded. It lost the scope of what it was to being. It lost itself in the scope it was trying to achieve, as opposed to the scope it should have achieved.
I see what you mean. So basically, like in the first one, you could see like this small kind of group existing and no one knowing about it. But in the second one, it's like so big, you're just kind of like wondering how the whole world doesn't know about it.
Of
Yeah,
society that doesn't make sense that the world doesn't know about it, or at least that
yeah.
all major parties in the world don't know about it.
But anyways, continuing, has one of my favorite action scenes. I thought in John Wick 1, the club scene, I thought that was going to be like... I thought that was going to be like the peak of action scenes. Maybe like an exception of like one or two movies that may come out in like the next 30 years for action movies. No. A few years later, we get John Wick 2, and there's an entire fight scene in mirrors. And it was so beautifully done.
That was done. That must have been hard.
That put Enter the Dragon to shame. Like, that was amazing. And
I
Enter the
loved it.
Dragon had one of my favorite scenes using that exact same technique, but it was brought up to a whole new level in John Wick 2.
Yeah. And
Man.
to just put it, to just make this already long podcast speed up a bit.
Right,
I am so pumped for the third one. I really am curious as to how things are going to turn out for everyone involved.
I'm hoping it comes back to being tighter in scope, given that's one man against the world.
I think it is going to be tighter in scope because of that.
Well, here's the thing. I'm afraid they're going to expand the scope even more into like what they did with like the last half of the movie, the last scenes in the movie.
Yeah.
Where all of a sudden every person on every street is part of this world. I don't want that. I want that to be one thing, one semblance of power, one show of power, one show of force ever and never done again. I don't want that to be a regular thing. I don't want that to be a thing done more than once because it loses effect then.
Yeah,
I agree
like
with that.
At that point, it's not that person's powerful. It's just that this thing is just everyone in the world is part of it.
Like my biggest thing is like if it's like in the world scope and he's trying to get away and he's like traveling the world trying to get away, but there's people that like here and there and everywhere that are just kind of like trying to get at him, and I'm just like,
I want it to be Jason Bourne. I don't want it to be.
But
Spy Kids?
That's actually a really good analogy. Yeah.
But I'm hoping just because of, spoiler alert, end of the movie, he's given, I think, a 5-minute head start.
Mm-hmm.
I genuinely think the third one's going to start with him still running away. And, it's just, 3 minutes past. That's it.
No, I don't think it'll be that. I think it'll be like a month later.
Watch it
I
be
don't think
like
it's gonna
the
be a month
shortest
later.
film ever made, and it's like during that 5-minute head start, he's running, but then it
And
turns
the
out
zone just
every
shuts
single
itself.
person in New York City is involved. They're all just like, okay, that was it. That was actually
It actually
who
just
knew when?
becomes the last scene from Matrix 3. It's
I was
just,
about to say
everyone
that.
starts throwing themselves out windows, a dog pile them and shit. Like,
yeah.
It's a 5-minute movie, and most of that runtime is the credits.
But I'm super pumped for the third one. So,
all right.
All right, so like I kind of got lost on my list, but I think I have where I am
How'd you
right
get-
now.
how'd
there
you
are
get
only
lost?
2 movies left.
Yeah.
ordered
No, I know,
them.
but I felt like I
you
got
have a 50-50 chance of choosing the right one if you really don't know which
no.
one.
I
you
feel like I
more.
already said this one, but I mean, like if
We'll
I
tell
do-
you if you did.
Yeah.
my second one is Valerian.
You did not say
You
that.
did not.
No, so- okay, so
Alex said that as his 5th, so.
okay, that's why I was like, I feel like there's reference to it. Okay, but yeah, Valerian again. He kind of just said everything.
It's fantastic.
It's fantastic.
I want to say this about
Visuals
Valerian.
gave me an orgasm, straight up.
I don't know if I enjoyed the movie as much as I did because it was just the 4 of us in there and we're just
That was a
making commentary about it the
that was
entire
fun.
time.
For
I don't know if it was just that.
I did
or...
go see it a second time, and I was still mad. So
Okay.
For the
I
people-
always can confirm I did. It's in my
I've
number 2
also
because
seen it a second time, and it is as good a movie as we initially thought.
Okay.
It was definitely more enjoyable for us doing that, but it's not any worse on the second watching.
For the people listening, we just happened to be in a showing that literally no one else was in, so we were just messing around the whole time.
we were like very vocal. About
we were
stuff.
very loud, very vocal, because we could be, because we were literally the only people.
still
in the
one of
theater.
my favorite viewings. So.
Yeah, that is my favorite viewing of a movie ever because of that.
I don't even remember
We need to do
how-
that more. That happens with every.
We
movie
need to
now.
hunt down what movies no one is going to.
I mean this is a common thing. Every single movie that happens with. And,
No, I
and
know.
you
There's
all
always a
know
point.
this.
Yeah, no.
There's a point where this happens to every movie. Star Wars will have this happen to it at the end of it.
Yeah, but that requires us to like wait to not see this.
It doesn't
movie.
actually.
No, we just need
we
to.
just need to go in and do this more often.
All right, so
Even if we don't
Alex,
see the
you're
movies.
number 2.
My number 2. This was hard for me because there's one movie that outclassed all others for me this year. But this is my favorite superhero movie to date now. Wonder Woman is my number 2.
Nice.
It's exploration of themes different from the comics, but based on the comics clearly. It's new version of its story. It using certain narrative twists and themes that haven't been explored in the same way before. Its use of color. It may have one of the only tonally appropriate uses of the Zack Snyder brown, orange, and gray color scheme of all time.
Take a
Because in the context of World War I or World War II, it's a very appropriate tonal color set. Like colors have tones, and that color set works for the tones being explored at the time too, and with World War One in particular. But besides that, it was also the most colorful of all the DC movies. The opening on Themyscira is beautiful.
It was really good.
God,
Gorgeous.
it was
There's
so
more color
nice.
in just the first 5 minutes on Themyscira than all the other DC movies put together.
And that's sad.
Also-
That's really sad.
Yeah, but it's also great for this movie. Gal Gadot, or Gal Gadot, sorry, I always try and say Gadot, but it's actually pronounced Gadot. Gal Gadot is, I don't know if she's a good actor, but she's perfect for this role. I still haven't seen her enough to tell whether or not she's good or like where her accent's from or anything, but all of that, like not quite being able to peg what accent she's quite using or it being real or fake or anything, works for this character in particular, works in the context of this film. Everything she does is spot on. The costume design is spot on. The props are great. The acting is great. Some of my favorite performances from almost all the actors in it. It's all really good. And it explores themes that are unique to this movie and that haven't been explored in either the comics or other superhero movies before. And it's good. It's great.
And even like, so like the ending, which I will say probably was my least favorite, at the same time had one of my favorite moments of it, which is Ares and the whole concept of he didn't like mind control people into war like Gal Gadot kept thinking that like he was doing the whole movie. He just simply implanted the
Slight
ideas
spoiler alert.
of
Yeah.
shit. Yeah, big spoiler alert. Honestly,
Spoiler alert about the ending.
yeah, he
He
just
wasn't the god of war.
yeah he
He
just
was the god of truth.
Yeah, he just implanted the ideas.
Yeah.
And I think that concept was what made the movie for me. Like, at the very end was like, yeah, he didn't, like, make these people want to go to
He just
war.
whispered truth
yeah,
into their ears, and people did with truth what they would.
exactly.
And
I thought that
the
whole
actual
idea was
god
really
of
good.
war is actually Wonder Woman herself.
Yeah.
It's a great exploration of themes and tones that haven't been explored by almost anything before. It's great.
Yeah.
And it's a great it's a fresh take on something that needed a mixture of fresh and old, and it was great. It was fantastic. And fuck Hollywood for not investing in women more, both as in terms of making it more of a societal norm for women to have empowering roles or empowering role models, as well as women directors in Hollywood. Hollywood has a big problem with allowing women directors to be successful, and the fact that this one, Patty. Is her name Patty? Something like
I
that?
want to say it was Patty Jenkins.
No, that's
what am I?
that's a
what am I
completely
doing?
different
That's a
person.
different thing.
That's the person in charge of Star Wars, right?
What?
What?
No, never mind. No, my bad.
I'm confused.
Yes, I
But,
am.
No, yeah, but she's fantastic. I keep forgetting her name, and it's a disservice to her.
Oh no, yeah, it's Patty Jenkins.
Patty Jenkins.
It was.
Yeah.
Oh,
So it's a
shit.
disservice to her that I don't
Ha,
remember.
shot in the dark.
Her last name, but Patty Jenkins did a fantastic job. It's a shame she wasn't able to have more to do with Justice League.
Yeah.
It's a shame she that I'm afraid Warner Brothers is gonna try and screw her out of her empowerment or her control over the Wonder Woman series.
That would definitely
I'm
be
afraid
dumb.
that Wonder Woman 2 is probably going to be complete shite compared to Wonder Woman 1, because I'm afraid that Warner Brothers has too much invested in it now, that the first one was successful. I'm afraid for the future of the series because of the companies and because it's Hollywood. But Patty Jenkins makes me hopeful to see better role models for women and also better movies, period. It's fantastic as a movie, as a generational touchstone, as the first woman superhero movie with a theatrical release ever. Supergirl was the first superhero,
But, yeah, it
female
didn't
led
have
but I don't
us-
think it had a
it
theatrical
didn't,
release.
no.
So as far as I'm concerned, this is the first super heroine led movie ever, and it was a damn good start.
Unless you count Catwoman,
I'm about to
but
say,
I
like,
would
was
say
it
no.
Catwoman isn't a hero; she's a villain. She's
In this,
an anti-hero
in that
at
movie,
best.
in that
Even
movie,
in that
she
movie,
technically
she's
In a movie,
was.
she-
she's breaking the law.
Yeah.
She's very overtly against capitalism and breaking like certain laws and breaking into companies. So she's still an anti-hero at best. She's not a superhero.
Do you really want to consider that the first?
Definitely
No,
not.
movie.
But I mean, if
Fuck
we're being technical
Catwoman,
here-
but
Yeah.
I do have to say I did love how the actor for Catwoman,
Storm? Yeah, she's a great Storm.
well, yeah. Well, no, I mean, what's it called? The MTV Bad Movie Awards. What's it called again?
The Razzies?
Razzies. She accepted it as the worst actress, and she accepted it like with pride. Like she was happy to take that award.
I know
That was
I know this
awesome.
movie.
the actress is
garbage.
super cool, and I usually
yeah.
like her in most things she's in, and she's super hot.
Yeah.
say
Oh
Halle
yeah, she is.
Yeah.
Halle Berry, right?
Halle Berry. Yeah.
She's super cool. She's not my problem with the movie.
Oh no, there's plenty.
Yeah.
Halle Berry's an amazing actress.
There
So,
are
anyways, let's
I'm
go
sure she
back
did-
to either
I'm
Wonder
sure
Woman
she
or
did her
Isaac's
best
number
with what was
2, so
actually
we don't
given.
Yeah,
get to talk
exactly.
about
But yeah,
fucking
Wonder
Catwoman.
Woman, a great war movie, a great superhero movie, a great fantasy movie, a great overall tale, and one of the only good uses of the horrible CG they're forcing. The only thing I disagree with in the entire movie, I think, is honestly Ares' design.
Yes.
Ares' design I have a problem with, not because I don't like him, like how he made his armor or anything. That's cool. It's the fact that he retained his human form when he did, and I get that it's not really that inaccurate to have like a man with a mustache be Ares. Spoiler alert. It's not really like inaccurate even from like looking at it as like the Greek gods perspective or whatever, for that to be the representation of Ares.
It's just the actor.
It's
so
just that
goofy.
it looks
Yeah.
out of place, feels out of place, and with how Ares is being portrayed, my problems with that is that it really doesn't look like the comic book. That's my main problem with it.
My problem with it is that you can tell the face does not match the body at all.
Oh, no.
You see this really poorly done CG, like this face on the CG body, and you can just tell they do not match.
Yeah, but yeah. Besides Ares' design being the only flaw, and at that, it's not his entire design either. It's specifically the
Face.
The human form.
It's the human form of Ares. The armor itself was pretty cool. How he made the armor, the weird like eye melting. That was actually cool. There's just the one thing. The human form of Ares was, and that's the thing. I like the idea of the human form of Ares being that. I just don't like that he didn't transform out of that.
Yeah.
Really. Yeah.
Anyway, for my number 2, it was actually the same as Stewie's. I chose Coco.
Yay!
The plot in general, there are a lot of problems with the movie as a whole.
Miguel.
Apparently.
Yeah.
No, he was great, honestly.
I don't know. That's
Not
not
to you. Of course, to you, yeah. But to
My only
Isaac.
joke was him being racist for saying Miguel.
I know.
Yeah, but you hate children, so
That is true.
Wait, because your name is Isaac and you're white. That's racist, man? Because that's such a white person name.
Wait, what?
I mean, if you want to be technical,
Is
it's a
it?
pretty Middle Eastern name.
Yeah.
Is it? Okay,
Yeah.
fine.
It's one of those
Yeah.
biblical names.
Yeah.
You know,
So you're
Isaac from the Bible.
wrong in that, mate.
Okay, you actually got me
Middle
there, damn it.
Yeah,
Whatever.
it's
I mean, what are you talking about? How is Fed hot sauce? What?
actually Fed hot sauce is a pretty Nordic white name. Yeah.
Stop.
Fed, hot sauce, American white. It's either Nordic.
America's
or
a
it's super
melting
white.
pot of culture.
Mostly white culture. A melting pot of mostly white culture.
So
Europe
Co-
and Italy. And
So Coco, my man.
Name 3 predominantly white countries.
That was my point. That was the joke.
Or
No, I-
modernly white countries.
Yeah.
We used to think of Italians and Irish as not white. That's going.
We're
to
getting
different-
into a lot
that's
of stuff.
bad.
Like, I can
Yeah,
say a lot.
let's move
Anyway,
on.
like as a whole, like it's because of Coco at number 2. Honestly, I'm gonna put out that I'm not 100% confident with the order of my list.
Also, unless all of our number 1s are the same, I'm really shocked and saddened by you people.
I know
It's
that
not.
me, Derek, and you have the exact same number
It's
one.
not. It's not.
I
gonna
can
be
tell you
just-
that now.
yeah.
But the ending for Coco was so beautiful,
It was.
and like it definitely wasn't bad in it. At it. Well, okay, there was like 1 or 2 moments that I'm like, they shouldn't do that.
it was bad. Well, actually,
As a whole, there was it was definitely very good even as a whole. But the ending was what really put it that I had to put it on my top 5. It was such a beautiful ending. It had me crying.
see, there's a nice theme with our top list. If you have a really good ending, you'll probably make it in.
I mean, it makes sense because that's the last thing you see of the
Yeah,
movie. So that's your
it's the-
final
Yeah, but
impression.
for me, like Valerian is like the first 5 minutes of Valerian is the reason it makes it in my top 5 list. Honestly, Like, it's a really good movie other than that, but it's probably number 6 other than that. Like, the first 5 minutes is, like, one of the most beautiful short films of all time. It's one of the most hopeful and beautiful messages for humanity ever.
Anyway, I highly recommend Coco. I'm emotionally dead. It had me crying.
I'm emotional.
Not crying out of sadness either. It was just really
Yeah, actually.